Welcome back, everyone, to another session of Half-Rate Heroes. Thank you for joining us tonight for this. After a couple of weeks hiatus, we're now back. We're ready to go. Before we get started, quick recap of the adventure and the situation so far. So our intrepid heroes were originally hired by the new Lord of the City of Neverwinter, Lord Belvedere, who needed some help with a task. That simple task turned into the party discovering that someone was manipulating the forces of the different inner planes. They found crystals on the Feywild and Shadowfell that were feeding off of those two areas and had some strange effects. Then after solving those, they then hopped from plane to plane, collecting and destroying crystals on each of the elemental planes. Now, the four that were on the elemental planes were a little bit more refined, more dangerous than the two in the Shadowfell, the one in the Shadowfell and the one in the Feywild. And so now, after finishing up in the Earth plane and discovering by talking to the Tao out there that the White Hand, this mysterious group of individuals who had been causing all of this, supposedly, for what we believe, are working out of, or at least according to the Tao, are working out of the Shadowfell city of Evernight. Evernight being the Shadowfellian version of Neverwinter. So our heroes ended last session resting, sleeping in the safe confines of the busy city of Neverwinter. The night came a little bit earlier than it would normally. The sun just, not that it went down, but clouds darkened a little bit sooner so that it felt like it was nighttime earlier. Our heroes awaken at dawn. It's still a little dark, not very dark. It's not so bad that it's noticeable. It's almost like your own situation in winter, how it gets darker earlier, stays darker a little bit later. So in that situation, our heroes are waking up in the Harper headquarters, all of them except for Kale, who spent the entire night with a book in the Hall of Knowledge, the House of Knowledge. So, on this morn, what would you guys like to do? The city of Neverwinter is yours for the taking.
Just to confirm, we still have all of those refugees hanging out somewhere in the Harper HQ?
Most of them went to the Harper HQ. Those that were originally from Neverwinter have gone back to their homes and connected with their family in Neverwinter. So you don't have as many of the refugees as you got out of the Earth elemental plane. You, if I remember rightly, the amount that you got out was
6 or 7, right? Because it was
well, it was
two lots. It was 2 lots of 6 or 7. So you've got 14 different people, 6 of which have gone back to their own homes. So the Harper HQ is currently housing and taking care of 8 refugees, sorting out where they're from, arranging ways to get them back, make sure that they are good and healthy. So the Harper HQ is kind of busy doing paperwork, more or less, doing the low-level stuff. It's nothing dramatic. No one's really running around, but everyone's busy. What do you want to do?
I'll get up and start doing some morning exercises, waiting for everybody else to get up. And when they do, doing like one-handed push-ups here, and look back over my shoulder and it's like, we should probably get Kale before we plan for the rest of the day, right?
I suppose so.
Do we really have to?
I mean, dude's got divine connections.
Yeah.
I feel it would be a waste of his skills if we did not.
But I was enjoying my peace and quiet.
Indeed, and no incessant questions. was really
What you guys'
what did it for
problem
me.
with Kale? Kale's awesome.
Kind of
That-
salty.
That's just the problem. He's awesome.
But we love Graham. Not Graham. We love
It's too late.
Vinny.
Yes.
We love Vinny. Sorry. We'll edit that one out. We don't.
Greta should be edited out.
No. Love Vinny.
Blooper reel.
Well, Mr. Lefcardio, what do you what's your intel on this white hand group?
I have no intel, actually. I just spent the night here. We found out about the white hand from that fella Nugget
Nuggets.
Nugget. We found out from him that they're in Evernite. I reckon we could probably dig around a bit more if Taslin doesn't know much more about Evernite other than it's run by the undead.
Who ye be thinking that we need to go talk to?
Well, I've got a lead. Again, it just requires Kale. But those hobgoblins that I intend to bring back might be.
Ah, yeah, I forgot about them.
There's a chance that the enclave that we fought with on the Earth plane actually wasn't associated with the White Hand. But if I was a betting lass, and I am, I would put money that they are associated somehow, whether or not he knows it.
So let's go wake Mr. Kale up.
Real quick, while you're on the topic of what do you know currently about the White Hand, which of your characters has the best memory, do you think, out of the four of you? Kale's not here.
Taslin.
Maybe me.
Taslin. Unfortunately, Taslin wasn't here at that juncture when an extra piece of information was given to you.
Then the next highest would be me.
Between Lefcadio, Wampum, and Nos, we have a combined +0 to intelligence. But hers is an 11 and ours is a 10. So
Fair enough. Then Nos, don't forget that way back when you fought the first priest sorcerer of Cord, that you also learnt they were somewhat associated with same symbolage on them as the White Hand assassins that were in Tribor, and I believe, if I remember rightly, you got information from their dead bodies that suggested if you would like to join their organization, you can do so in Luskin.
Yeah, by putting a unique item at the base of the host tower, which we don't know what the status is on that at all.
Yeah. So that's also another thing that you currently know, more for the viewer's purpose than anything else. I'm sure you remembered. So, you gonna go get Kale?
Yeah.
So since we're all invested in gathering information, perhaps we should all go to where Kale is, since he's in a house filled with information.
All right.
I'm just gonna have a quick word with the hoppers. Let them know. Can I find someone who's like reasonably in charge?
Reasonably in charge? Maybe not. You'll find a couple. I don't want to say low-level operatives, but a couple levels into the Harper organization, enough that they can order the lowest level around. You've got a clipboard, making sure that everyone's going the right kind of direction.
Excuse me, mate.
Yes. Everything okay?
Yeah, we're gonna pop out for a bit, and we've got these folks that we brought back. It occurs to me that you guys probably have a lot of important things to do, and really all we have to do is get these folks back to where they're from. So if this type of work is beneath you, just let us know. We can get it sorted out. We probably just need to get them set up with travel to wherever they're from. So I don't want to put you out.
This kind of work is beneath me, but it's not beneath the watchers. So we'll be keeping the watchers busy handling all of this. It's good work for them, and we can make sure that we help people. So don't worry, we've got this.
Right. Fantastic. Keep it up.
Very well. So, heading out through the streets, the city of Neverwinter is actually quite cold on this morning. There's a brisk breeze as a chill is beginning to set in. You make your way through the streets. A few less people than normal, but that's natural because of the cold. A couple people are starting to set up for the day's worth of work, but mostly the streets are fairly empty. It'll take you close to 20 minutes walking before you get to the House of Knowledge. Tall. Yeah, go ahead.
While we're making our way there, can I take a minute to identify the scourge that we got from the Drow matron or priestess?
You can, though it wasn't magical.
Okay.
It's just a generic scourge or flail, however you want to deal with it. Okay.
Perfect.
So the House of Knowledge is a large library that's been turned into a temple as much as anything else. So the outside is very old stonework. It's very well kept. They keep it pristine and clean. On this day, the windows are a little bit fogged up, but the doors are open, welcoming all inside. Once you pass through the main doors, the inside, though it looks a little bit larger than it probably should, the inside of this temple is a little bit bigger than the outside. There is a young woman sat behind a desk. On her table, she's got reams of paper that's all messed up and jagged, trying to sort through all kinds of junk, and she barely even notices you walking past, enough to just give you a nod and wave, and then make a note of those who have approached the temple.
Is this like a big cavernous space, like Beauty and the Beast library style, where you walk in and it's just books from floor to ceiling?
It is floor to
ceiling's
ceiling,
way up there,
but it doesn't feel cavernous because it is packed. There is a bookshelf every 15 feet, and it is just row upon row of bookshelves. And yes, it does look cavernous in the fact that it is a very large structure. From the outside, it's a 3-story building. From the inside, you swear you can see at least 5 different balconies that reach up. It goes back beyond, your vision is kind of blocked by just the sheer amount of books in this place.
So I feel a compulsion walking in here during daylight when all the light is streaming in and you can actually see how big the place is. I'd like to walk to the center of the library and make a very loud wolf howl, just to hear it echo.
Okay.
The primal pleasure of disrupting a place of utmost quiet and serenity.
Okay.
It just appeals to me.
I'm struggling to think of how that would sound. Do you want to give us a...
I'll do my best.
All right. Kale would have heard this. After, I think, the first inflection of that, it would suddenly be cut off as the woman behind the desk stands up and angrily points at you and shh.
Yeah, that got his attention.
I made my day.
And then she'll sit down, silence having been cast to make you quiet, and then it's released immediately afterwards. So, Kale, there was a wolf howl, and then everything went quiet.
So before all that happened, I imagine I had some time to myself.
Yeah, you would have had time.
So, question out of character for the DM. Would I believe that the organization, the White Hand, is of legendary importance?
of legendary importance.
Yeah.
Those words strike me as something that's associated with a spell. What are the words that surround it for context? Because if it's historical information about legendary importance, then no. Historically, no. But historically in the future, yes.
First off, first issue, hurdle to get over. It
Yep.
says name or describe a person, place, or object, which the White Hand is none of those things. It's a collection of people.
Yep.
It's not a place or object. But next hurdle, it says if the thing you named isn't of legendary importance, you gain no information.
Okay. I would reckon that with that, then, yes, they are currently considered of legendary importance. But they're not a person, thing, or object. Person, place, or object.
Well, I know that they're associated with Cord, and Cord's obviously... I mean, does he count as a person, he or she? I don't know what Cord's deal is.
The deity?
Yeah.
And I mean, we also had the name of the Storm Sorcerer Goliath guy.
Yeah, but he's dead.
Yeah.
Or he was.
Or he was. Could be alive. You never know. You could try. I mean,
well, we just came into 250 or 20,000 gold worth of gems, I think. So what's 250 gold worth of incense? All right. For my morning ritual, I will cast the Legend Lore spell and ask about. So give me info about Cord.
about Cord.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cord is the storm god and the lord of battle. He revels in strength, battlefield prowess, and thunder. Fighters and athletes revere him. He is a mercurial god, unbridled and wild, who summons storms over land and sea. His legend is that of most deities. In their history, they were born out of necessity and live on worshipped by many people. Some of his followers have a tendency to exemplify the tempest more than anything else, and the unnatural, or rather natural, disorganization that occurs during a storm.
All right. Any forgotten stories or secret lore that's never been widely known?
About Cord, not really. Not that's going to help you here.
Yeah, there's lots of apocryphal stories about him when he was a child, but you know, baby Cord.
Lots of stories, whether or not they're true or legendary, is another matter.
Okay. All right, that was something. Thank you.
No problem.
Well, how long does that take?
A couple of minutes.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
Is there something else I want to ask? What other thing should I cast today? I'll talk to people and get ideas for stuff first. So I just would be hanging out, still trying to translate Celestial to Abyssal. Or I think it was going the other way, Abyssal to Celestial. Either way, I'm trying to figure some shit out, man. And it's probably not going great because I don't know either of those languages, and I don't want to burn up my channel divinities this early in the day. So I'm interrupted by the sound of a single howl. I guess I imagine I'm like up stairs somewhere, and I go over to like a banister, and I look down, and obviously, yeah, of course, that's who that was.
The bookcases almost seem to shift like the parting of a sea, and you can see in the center of it a howling nose.
Well, I'm glad I woke up early. Instead of adding to the noise, I'm just going to walk down there.
Mr. Kale, we missed you.
I heard. Good morning. I hope
Good morning, Cal.
Everyone's all rested up. Everyone feels good.
Yes.
Great. Since you were all together, I assume maybe you came up with some designs on what we should do going forward, how we should proceed with this problem.
Well, I talked to Mr. Lefcardio, and he kind of referred the situation to ye.
Oh, okay. So
that's why we be here.
Okay. Great. Well,
the hoppers are taking care of our refugees. They don't seem to mind, so we got that off of our plate.
all right. And last we heard, the White Hand's current presence is mostly localized to Evernight.
Indeed.
Which, in a sense, we're already in.
They were based in Evernight,
Right.
is what you heard. Whether or not they're localized to that point or confined to it is a different question.
Or choice awaits.
And just this morning, I was remembering myself, no one else, regarding the information we found out about the folks in Luskin and their organization there. Just is possibly if we wanted to get more information regarding the White Hand, if it's not available in these tomes, perhaps somewhere in Luskin we can go and rattle some trees.
Sure.
Indeed.
That's good to
And we
keep in
could
mind.
recover our boat.
Perhaps, yeah, we should do that. Just a quick note about Luskin. When we left, we what's a simple way to put this? We kind of sort of overthrew part of their government a little bit, I think.
Well, then they shouldn't be a problem when we get there, right?
Just so we're aware before we
Yeah,
commit to going there.
There are a lot of notes to make about Luskin in its present state.
Right.
That's one of them. Yeah.
Yeah, so just bearing those in mind is probably prudent before we make any plans to go back there. So let's exhaust what we have here first.
I did bring the 2 hobgoblin bodies. If you wanted to resurrect one, they might have information. It's still unclear whether or not that enclave in this plane of Earth was the White Hand, but judging by what Nugget said, I can kind of connect those.
All right. Sure, yes.
Don't you have the ability or something to talk to these dead things?
Yeah. That was the plan.
Well, I was hoping that we could bring him onto our side and actually give him his life back.
Well, it couldn't hurt to ask them first, from the perspective of, back when they were alive, what they would think about that sort of proposition.
When they were alive, they didn't have the information yet that the wizard, their former boss, killed them. That might change their perception.
It might. All I'm saying is that it doesn't hurt me at all or anybody else to just ask first, and we can still decide I can still raise them.
Okay, but if he's resistant, then it's inconclusive.
Right. I mean, it won't be, there's no expenditure of resources on my part. That's what I'm saying. And I imagine not on theirs either because they're dead. So, yeah, I can talk to them first. I spent some time with some jeweler's tools. I tried to appraise all those jewels that we left the planet Earth with. It seems like we have about 20,000 gold pieces worth of jewels. I don't know.
That's a lot of sparklies.
I don't know how much of it is in diamonds, though, if someone would care to enlighten me on that front.
There was
3,484 gold worth of diamond.
All right. So there's about 3,500 gold worth of diamonds, which is good. That's several dead people that can be raised. I suggest we hold on to those at the very least. I would like to take 1,000 gold pieces worth of rubies and just 1,000 gold piece assortment to have encrusted into a bowl, just for future spells. But the rest of it, anybody, it's free to be split amongst you guys however you would like. Does that sound good? Is that amenable to everybody?
That makes sense to me.
So
I
wait,
don't
how
have
much
any
was
pressing expenses?
the total?
So 3,500 in jewels or in diamonds, 1,000 in rubies, and another 1,000 in just random assorted gems. So that would be 5,500 gold pieces out of the 20,000. And my estimate is just that it's an estimate. It might not be entirely correct, but I'm pretty sure it's close.
So how much would a cut be?
So
Sounds like about
55
3 grand each.
of about 15.
Excluding the ruby stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, it'd be about 3,000 each. But as I said, I mean, you guys can have the rest of my cut. I'm already taking a substantial amount in all the diamonds and rubies and all that crap that I just listed.
I like sapphires. You know that blue sparkly. I like me some sapphires.
Okay. You can have as many sapphires as you want from this pile. Anyway, so I suppose first we can go talk to those hobgoblin gentlemen because, might as well get that out of the way. And then we can deal with jewels.
There was also the, I guess the idea that this problem started at around the same time Lord Belvedere came to power in Neverwinter, and the folks in the White Hand are in the Shadowfell version of Neverwinter. Do we want to have a second look at Lord Belvedere?
That's something we can discuss elsewhere.
Away from prying eyes, perhaps.
Or prying ears.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later.
And Kale, I do apologize for my rudeness last night.
That's fine. Thank you for apologizing. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
It's not I suppose it's not wholly unexpected. I can be prickly, and that's it.
You prickly? No.
I imagine that the trials of the last several weeks, have been kind of hard on everybody in their own way. So I apologize to anybody else if they feel that I've, been untoward in any way.
You just being yourself.
Thanks.
Okay.
While you guys are stood around chatting, the librarian that was at the desk will approach and kind of nudge you along. It's like, can I help you at all? This is not a place for discussion. It's a place for study and intellectual discourse.
What's he doing? We discussing what he's studying.
Yes, perhaps you could assist us. Do you have any books on an organization called the White Hand?
The White Hand.
Yes.
Let me go away and look at what we have. But I would ask that if you're going to continue to stand here and talk, that you maybe take it to one of the private rooms upstairs and not in the foyer and amidst all of the books. I wouldn't want the books to get unnecessarily touched. If that's okay.
Sure. Yeah, that's okay. I'd like to read her mind real quick while she's looking.
She's terribly nervous that Nos and Wampum will break a book. And that's what she's terrified of right now. She needs to get you guys as far away from the books as possible so that you don't tear anything up, get it dirty, or you ink on like oil on your fingers might blacken a page or something. She's absolutely focused on the protection and preservation of these precious books.
Okay. I'll turn real quick and I'll gesture to everybody and I'll say, I'll meet you guys outside real quick. Okay. And I'll turn back to her and hopefully they're walking away because I only got a minute to do this. And I'll bring up again. I'll say, remember, it's I apologize for them. Don't worry about them. But remember, it's the White Hand. You never heard anything about the White Hand?
Are you affecting her in any way?
I'm trying to put that into her mind while I'm still reading her mind.
Yeah, no, fair enough. She does know a thing or two about the White Hand, and she's trying to avoid outright saying it. She'd like some time to be able to think about how to word it.
Right. So, because I'll continue and say, because if you do know anything about the White Hand, I suggest you share it with me in its entirety.
Wisdom save.
Mm-hmm.
That is an 18. Does that?
I think that's exactly my DC.
I, as I said to your friend, I will. I just need some moments to check our inventory, and then I'll bring you all the tomes and any piece of information that might contain anything about the White Hand.
Okay. I'm going to try actually casting suggestion this time.
Okay. Suggestion. What components does it require?
Vocal and material.
Okay, so what material components are you pulling out?
Let's see. It says a snake's tongue and either a bit of honeycomb or a drop of sweet oil. But you did mention, well, this wouldn't be better. You did mention that I could perhaps use Lightbringer as a focus.
Yep.
But I imagine it would probably be just as bad if I just grab a mace. I'm like, hey, you should come outside with me.
You can certainly give it a try.
Nah, I'm good. I'll just let it go, actually.
Okay. The point I'm getting at is that if you're actually casting the spell, then she'd have the time to notice the spell and be able to counter it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I'll just let that go.
Okay, fair enough. There are plenty of rooms up on the first floor. Take the stairs just behind the red bookcase, and you'll have the room to yourselves. Let me. I'll be there in just a couple of minutes. You see.
Okay, sounds good. What's your name, real quick? My name's Kale Irvine, by the way.
Hi, my name is Suta.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. Thank you for sharing. Just trying to be cordial. See ya. Bye-bye.
She'll scurry off. You scurry off.
I'm going to go outside and that chick knows something. That
What does she know?
I don't know what she knows.
You want me to beat it out of her?
No, I don't want you to beat anything out of anybody. We're in the middle of a big city.
This is a joke.
Perhaps one of us should wait for her to bring any books there. Perhaps she is simply trying.
I can go throw a book at her.
Don't throw a book at her.
Is she gonna get some information for us? Should we go back in?
She said she was gonna look, but she didn't want us to be, in there doing whatever we were doing. She's being.
Why not?
She did suggest a private room.
She did. It might be better if we don't stay in there. I don't know what she knows or didn't know about the White Hand, but she didn't feel like sharing it offhand with us.
All right, maybe we chat up those hobgoblins and then we come back. How's that sound?
Perfect.
I'd like to know what she's doing right now, actually. Let's find a quiet corner.
Okay.
Um,
Inside there or not inside there?
no, somewhere else. Somewhere else completely.
All right.
On
Which
that eye thing.
I don't have any invisibility spells that will keep any one of us invisible for more than a minute.
No, it's fine. Just let's just go around the corner of the building here. No, let's go. We need to get in a room somewhere. Is there a building like across the street anywhere, like immediately nearby?
The House of Knowledge is right across from the market square, if I remember rightly. So there are plenty of buildings that are commercial buildings around.
Okay. Is there one like right across the street? What do we got right, like literally right across the street?
Right across the street. That will. That's actually going to be a. It's called the Quiet Place. It is just a place that you pay for silence. People in this town are a little bit precarious and pretentious about having moments to themselves, and so a lot of people have this place in particular has managed to make a somewhat living, a profit by providing silent spaces. So you can go in to sit in absolute silence.
Perfect. I will walk directly in there. Is there someone behind the counter or something?
There is someone stood in front of the building before it goes into the silence that is collecting admission fees. It's only 12 gold pieces to use the facilities for an hour.
Taslin's going to be waiting outside. He's not going to go in. He's going to keep an eye on the door, the front door to the House of Knowledge.
All right. In my haste to pay this person, I will pull 19 gold out of my pocket, just like a fistful. Just
taking it, she'll reach back and open the door. It's very dark in here. Windows have been covered in usually purple drapes. You are then guided by someone silently through the room towards a series of small cubicles that have been set up. The cubicles are about 10 foot by 10 foot. The ceiling is 15 foot high, and you have nothing but a single comfortable armchair inside the center of this cubicle.
Great. I'll sit in the center of the cubicle. Do I get the feeling if there's any magic in here at all?
Yeah, right now you are actually under the effect of a silence spell.
That's not
something tells me that might get in the way of your arcane eye.
No, I was gonna scry. Does it get in the way of arcane eye? I don't even know. Arcane eye, vocals package here. What was that other one I had? I had another one. Everybody, I have another one. I don't think I prepared it. I don't know where clairvoyance is. It's not on my list. Okay, but then I'm gonna dispel it. I'll just cast Dispel Magic.
Dispel Magic does not require verbal components.
Shit, it does. Is the whole building silenced?
Everything is silenced in here.
This is baloney. I just wasted 19 gold.
It's a quiet place.
It's so literal.
What are you looking for?
I want to be in a room. I want walls around me, and I want to be able to cast spells.
Okay.
Like a janitor's
You want
closet.
a private space
Literally,
that you can get access to that, that is just normal. There aren't many places that are absolutely private other than going to a privy in a tavern that's nearby.
Yeah, I'll do that.
All right, so you go.
Bust out. Thanks for the time. And I'll get tell fast walk.
That was quick.
How was it in there?
I'll just catch back up with them at the end.
Did you get what you needed?
No, I didn't. It was very quiet. I need to use the bathroom right now.
Okay.
All right.
So a couple doors down, there's a tavern.
Right.
It's a simple dive of a place. And so the privies are dirty, but not many people go there, and people don't stay there for long.
So
Okay,
are we all going into the privy with him, or are we all kind of like waiting outside the privy
Waiting
like a
outside.
line?
yeah, just one person watch the door. And I'm gonna go inside.
Taslin's gonna go up to the bar, toss down a gold piece, order a mug, and just kind of stare at the door.
They'll give you a mug, take the gold piece, and then offer you wine to go inside of it for 5 silver.
Sure.
Okay.
All
And you
right.
can keep the mug. All right. So what are you doing in the privy?
Well, that's kind of private. No, I'm
planning.
I'm gonna get out my crystal ball and try and scry on Suta.
Suta. Okay.
So that's a whiz save. I've met the target, so their save modifier is 0. I don't have any part of there, so there's no modifiers to the save.
Nope. All right. So DC is 18, right?
It's actually 17. I was wrong before.
17. Okay. So just trying to see. On a successful save, the target isn't affected, and you can't use the spell against it for 24 hours.
Right, but she failed, so.
Yeah, but she succeeded. So, yeah.
I will curse in one of the abyssal curse words I've learned.
Yep.
And then I'll try Arcane Eye now. I need to know what this chick's doing.
Okay.
Oh, she's having some problems. Listen now.
You can hear it through the door. Just like this really guttural.
He must be having a problem getting it out.
Okay. So, Arcane Eye. You need to find gaps as small as bigger than an inch in diameter, right? Because a solid barrier will block the eye's movement.
Yeah, 1 inch. Yeah, or larger.
Because he can still talk while he's doing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if he needed someone to like go out there and like open the door, he could do that to the place.
Do I need that?
So to get out of the privy, now there will be plenty of holes to send the Arcane Eye out of the privy, and then out to the tavern, across the street, into the library, towards her desk where she's not sat. I need you to try and find her. So which of your skills through the Arcane Eye are you going to be using to try and pull down on her location?
I'll investigate the area to try and determine the most likely place for someone to, like looking for a back room or something, like something that's not like super obvious. It looks like staff only. It's got a staff only sign on it or something like that.
Okay, so you're limited to 30 feet, so it takes some time to be able to do this, but yes, go ahead and roll an investigation check.
That would be 30.
30, okay. You will eventually find the back room that you were looking for. Can't think of the administration. That's the word on the door itself. It is a solid wooden door with no holes in it. The clearing of the door frame is smaller than an inch. The Arcane Eye will not be able to get inside the room. And
Does it
the
look
Arcane
like
Eye only gets visual.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it sure does. I don't have clairvoyance. I'm so dumb. I don't have the sound one anyway. But like, okay. How long does Arcane Eye last? It's like an hour.
An hour. So if you sit outside and just wait for it, something might happen. But
okay, no, that's fine. I can leave now that I've cast the spell. I mostly just wanted to be in there for. Oh, yeah, I wanted to. Shit. I want to cast non-detection on the room first. Whoops, too late. I can just leave now. I'll tell everybody, all right, I can get up and I'm watching the room. I'll just walk outside and say, let's get a drink. I need to watch for a while.
Did you wash your hands?
Nope.
Don't sit next to me.
I thought you liked messing with shit though. That's what we discussed that before, right?
Not elf shit.
Well, that's just a matter of poor taste. But I guess I shouldn't be surprised.
What kind of crowd do we have here?
This spot is being so close to the market square, it's very busy. There's a lot of people in it, but people aren't staying for very long. They're jumping in, sitting down for a moment, grabbing a drink, and then getting out. So you don't find anyone that's intoxicated. Everyone seems to be chattering loudly with some other person. There's no one in here that seems to not be part of a group. Lots of tables, booths that are busy and filled, and a lot of young males and females running around serving people at the tables. The bar in this place is off towards the back side. You had to walk past the bar to get towards the privy, and stood all along the bar is actually quite a few people desperately trying to keep up with the demand of all the different orders that are going on. But everything's very basic and mundane in here. It's just quick and fast-paced.
Does it look like there's a small stage or anywhere set apart that there might be music from time to time?
Roll a perception check.
That is a 20.
Okay. Judging by what you know about performances, you can get an idea of where the best position for one would be. And as you look to that spot off in the corner, furthest away from the entryway, but still within line of sight, it's positioned in such a way that once you are stood at the door and you're looking at the performance spot, you have to look and see the bar as well. So it's just off to the edge of the bar. However, it has long since been used as an actual performance spot, as there are tables and chairs that have been kind of plopped up onto this raised section and turned into somewhat of a separated section.
All right. Well, I'll mention to everyone, I'll say, mates, it sounds like we're going to be embarking on possibly the most dangerous part of our journey thus far. And I'd love to share a drink with you all before we head out into what might be our last trip across the plains. And
Now you're talking.
Taslin kind of pats the seat next to him.
if
I'm
we
assuming
don't,
I'm at a seat.
Go ahead, Carl.
if we don't make it back, I'd like to see if I can spread word of all of your deeds. Perhaps sing a few songs, and maybe these folk will know your names, whether or not we survive. Would you guys like that?
That's the greatest gift anyone has considered giving me in my life.
That'd be kind of nice.
I know I haven't been with you for long, but I would appreciate it.
You know what? Can ye sing?
I guess that remains to be seen. You sit tight. I'll get us squared away with some drinks, and I'll see if they'll let me play some songs. So I'll be right back.
Some Thunderbelly, please.
All right. I'll walk up to the bar and I say, mates, can I get like a table of Thunderbelly ale? Do you carry such a fine and stout drink at this establishment?
We don't really have Thunderbelly? Is it popular? I don't know. We've got generic. It's actually made by the family Gene Rick. That's we don't have.
I'm sorry, that's the family name?
That's the family name, Gene Rick.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take some Rick Ale. That sounds great. If that's what you have on tap, I'll take a picture,
Have
maybe.
Rick- Okay.
Also, I pull up my lute and say, I'm a bit of a musician. Would you guys fancy some music? I see you got a little stage over there.
As long as you don't cause any people to leave, sure, go ahead.
I'll do my best.
All right.
So I'll take a picture. And
They'll give you the Gene Eric beer, and then
some glasses.
yeah, you can go ahead and perform for everyone.
All right. So I go back and I bring the picture and say, all right. They gave me the go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a try up there. And I am going to send you all a link.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh,
I'll do that in Discord.
What's the link?
is it a recorded song?
No. Well, it's a link to TogetherTube, which allows you to play a video and everyone sees it at the same time. So let's see, Discord. Boop.
We're getting fancy.
All right. So what I did was I took some MIDI files and I brought them into GarageBand, and then I dropped these instruments that wouldn't sound appropriate for Lafcadio playing a song.
Would prestidigitation making faint musical noises help with those?
Not with TogetherTube. So if everyone is in, then I will bring up a song. All right, so I'll be moving the chairs and the tables around on stage, and I'll get set up, and then I'll look back at the table. All right, which one of you is first?
First for what?
Let's look at Wampum. All right, I'll sing about Wampum first.
Okay.
All right, and I haven't actually practiced any of these songs, other than in my brain.
So.
He swung, he threw, he drank his brew. Kale warned, don't let that hammer fly. He threw so hard at the cursed shard, then told his hammer goodbye. Don't you ever say he was not dismayed, he will always miss it. Now he's got an axe, and makes 3 attacks. It's rare when he does not hit. His axe can make a fireball. He's always looking for a brawl. His family makes some alcohol. Now he's looking for a bad row. A solemn dwarf vow.
Oh, no.
Standing ovation.
So that's him. That's my mate. That's Wampum right there.
I love you, buddy.
Nice. Do you have more?
Do Cal!
Do Kale.
All right, I'll
I'm
do Kale.
listening.
Do this.
Hope everything okay?
I think, yeah, I'm just moving everything along here. Just gotta fast forward the rest of Wampum's song. This one's got a bit more of instrumental to it.
Can the viewers hear this as well?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Kale! This guy really knows his stuff. He can even read your thoughts. Gets it from his deity, baby. Cleric with the angel's mace. He'd rather tell the dead your face. He gets it from his deity, baby. Kale! 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 When it's time to ask for help, you should protect your bookshelf. He gets it from his deity, baby. Help you if your cause is just. Just pay the man a diamond dust. He gets it from his deity, baby. Kale!
That one is already like standing ovation, like clapping.
Half the tavern is on their feet at this point, all just clapping along. Doing pretty good.
That's him right there. That's Kale, mate. Hope I didn't reveal too much there. All right, this one goes out to my mate Teslin.
Hey, John, could you mute yourself for this next one? I was hearing some music coming in the background there. Thank you.
So, if you thought that one was bad on my voice,
It's beautiful.
So you weren't putting that voice on?
he comes from the land of the Shadowfell, where there is no color and the undead dwell. Taslin Evrio. He'll teleport to new planes to end the threat and demonstrate the blessings of the Raven Queen. On he blasts with scorching rays! Black tentacles will burn away!
Taslin makes some mental notes to change his prepared spells now, so that they don't know what spells he's gonna cast.
It's him.
So-
It's Aislinn right there.
Everyone is now on their feet, clapping along, enjoying the good, solid description of Taslin from the Shadowfell that loves his black tentacles and scorching rays.
Nos! Where's Nos at?
You saved the best for last, right?
Let's hope so. Because it can't get any worse. Like the legend of the Drizzt changes our prejudice, keeps that pole arm spinning, Tamora keeps on grinning. She's come so far from the streets and the bars. Lux Avatar with the glade of wonder. The hobgoblin knows the red, the expertise of bloodshed, always getting that bread, 'cause she's blessed and she's lucky. The hobgoblin knows the red, the expertise of bloodshed, always getting that bread, 'cause she's blessed and she's lucky, because she's blessed and she's lucky. She's blessed and she's lucky, because she's blessed and she's lucky, because she's blessed and she's lucky.
So as he's singing this, I would like to get up on the stage behind him and make my cloak billow and do a whole bunch of glaive flourishes.
Like, as she's doing the flourishes, every time she accents the end of the strike, I'll do fireworks with prestidigitation, like, out of it.
Nice.
At this point, there's practically a riot in the street, in the market, trying to pack into this tavern to listen to what's going on and watch the performance. Very well done.
You've all been great. Don't forget to tip your waitress.
We need one on Lafcadio!
It's a bit weird singing about yourself, mate.
Well, I hope you all enjoyed those. Those were very well done. Well done there, Carl. That was impressive. All right. Now, that was actually pretty good. You caused a distraction, and it was a very solid distraction. Enough that at about the height of everything that was happening, Kale, you're still looking through the arcane eye?
Yeah, and I actually wanted to ask if I could do another thing. I was wondering if I could cast Augury, because it's not a concentration spell,
Okay.
but it does take a minute to cast. So I don't know if I can continue to concentrate on Arcane Eye or will I cast something for a minute.
Off the top of my head, I don't see a reason why you can't. The rules on spellcasting and durations are clearly explained. I would think that something that takes a minute would require some level of concentration, but I don't think it's enough to cause a problem. Like, the casting could be interrupted. Certain spells, including spells cast as rituals, require more time to cast, minutes or even hours. When you cast a spell with a casting time longer than a single action or reaction, you must spend your action each turn casting the spell, and you must maintain your concentration while you do so.
Okay.
If your concentration is broken, the spell fails, but you don't expend a spell slot. If you want to try casting the spell again, you must start over. Okay, so yeah, any spell that requires more than an action to cast requires concentration to perform the casting. That's an interesting rule I had overlooked. I'm going to be paying closer attention to that.
I could do a different one. I'll hold on to it.
Okay. Well, there's a bit of a ruckus and a bit of noise happening in the street anyway. And as a result, the door opens as someone steps out to investigate and find out what's causing all of the ruckus. In that moment, you see Suta herself stepping out of the room to go and see what the noise is. She doesn't like noise, so you did a good job there. And so the door is open for a moment while she's out. Arcane goes back in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There is another individual in this small room. It's a 20-foot long, 10-foot wide room that the only other individual inside that space is a fairly short but broad-shouldered individual, probably no taller than about 3-4 foot tall, but he is just as wide from shoulder to shoulder. He's a square of an individual, right?
Okay.
Dressed in black, but over the top black. Like, you can see he's got dark leather armor on underneath what is a big black overcoat with a high collar wrapped around his throat.
Right, I wrote black on black on black.
Yeah, he loves all of that stuff. Sat on top of this guy's head is what appears to be a porcelain mask, like a carnival mask. As the arcane eye moves around, you get a view of the top of it. The mask is perfectly just flat, nothing but 2 eye slits that could be looked through. There's no features on the mask itself, but it is white, whiter than white. Now, all of that is said, there is one other thing that stands out, and that is that he is wearing on his right hand a large metal clawed gauntlet that is painted white. The gauntlet itself looks like it's almost a dragon's claw itself. Its pointed fingers, the knuckles are extended outwards. It's down to his side, but it is clearly draws your attention. It's his right hand.
Okay. What else is in the
moments
room?
later, the room itself is just a simple storage closet. It's got some shelves up against the walls that have a few minor tomes or things that are being cleaned, things that are being processed for inclusion in the library. Does include cleaning equipment for not just books, but also the building itself. There is a broom, there's a bucket, there's a pail, all of that good stuff in there. Moment later, she will return. She'll come in, close the door. They'll continue to communicate for a time, and then he will teleport out of there.
Is it possible to tell in what manner he teleported? Like, could I maybe ascertain through some sort of check what sort of spell it was specifically?
Arcana check to see if you would recognize it.
That's a 13 plus 14, 27.
Okay. Yep, you recognize that this is the teleport spell. Okay. So not a teleportation circle that would require him to perform a circle and then go through it.
Mm-hmm.
This is just the teleport spell itself.
Got it. Okay. And when they were talking, I know this is kind of a stretch, but would it be possible, based on the movement of their lips, to tell maybe what language they were speaking at the very least, if not what they were saying?
It was common. You'd have been able to pick out a few words here and there, but not enough to be able to make any sort of kind of coherent sentences.
Fine. That's good. That's something. Great. Okay. That's it. So, yeah, this ruckus is going on. I will wave to Lefcadio as he's wrapping up his performance. And I'll kind of gesture to everyone else because I imagine it's like really loud. You ever been in like a bar where it's just so much sound? I don't
And
like yelling.
even when his performance is ended, people are still shouting. You can hear a couple people doing the screech. There's a bunch of people shouting Kale, and one or two people trying to imitate Nos, as she's actually created a new dance style for the tavern, as everyone's up there trying to do exactly the same thing without a glaive in their hands. So you all done pretty good.
As I'm watching the dancers and raising my mug to him, I'm going to turn to Lefcadio as he makes his way back, and I was like, I actually made something for everybody too, although it's not nearly as impressive as songs, but I gave you guys all proper street names, because I noticed that you were lacking in them. Lefcadio, you are Slim Kitty. Tazlin, you're ICT. Wampum, you are Shorty Biggs. And Kale is Snoop Dogg.
Snoop Dogg?
Yeah, because your alter ego is named Doug, apparently.
Oh, right. Yes, that name that I made up.
And you Snoop.
Yes.
Snoop Dogg.
All right, what's your street name?
Nos.
Oh, okay. What's your actual name?
I don't know.
All right. Anyway, let's thank you. Very nice of you, both of you. I didn't get anything for either of you, but I was doing some stuff while that was all happening. So let's go let's go get those guys you wanted to talk to, yeah?
Okay.
Yeah. Great.
Okay.
So
you're now leaving the city proper to go to the graveyards where you had stashed the bodies, the crypt where you had stashed the bodies.
Yeah, it's not a graveyard. We're not digging anyone up. We're just removing a top of a coffin there.
At the Temple of
All right.
Tomorrow.
Since we're already in the marketplace, would we want to stop at the any of the shops and get any unwanted goods out of the way before we go there?
Might as well, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, no hurry. We're not in danger or anything.
I'll use message
Before you
on-
do anything, Tazlin, before you go shopping at all, do you have any currency on you that is not gems, or like, do you have actual coinage?
I have 4 gold and 96 silver.
Right. You're not going to be able to buy anything in the Neverwinter
No.
markets.
I was going to sell the rare jewelry and the rubies from the Drow priestess. That was approximately 200 gold.
Right. Okay. All right. So you're not going to buy stuff. You're going to sell stuff.
No, I'm just going to sell it.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I would set aside the jewels that I said I wanted, the ruby and the diamonds and the 1,000 assorted gems, and then everybody else, if we could get those appraised, the rest of it appraised. It's supposed to be about 1,500 worth, just to convert it into gold, I guess. I don't know if we can.
I'm going to be generous and say it's probably supposed to be about 15,000.
Yes, I would just, yeah.
I mean, I'll give you 1,500 for it. In fact, the seller would probably love to give you 1,500, but it's probably worth it. All right. So there is precedence for this kind of thing, trading in precious items and gems to get coin. It's within the city of Neverwinter. It's mostly performed at what's known to most people as the Miners' Exchange. Originally was set up as you would just take your precious minerals and the things that you had collected while you were mining, and then they would pay you for it. Similarly, but it's expanded its operation somewhat now to just generally accept anything in trade, and they will give you coin. Effectively, it's the Neverwinter's version of a pawn shop. You can go there. You can trade in your precious gems and everything that you have. The individual behind the counter that'll do the appraisal is behind some very protective glass. You have to put all the gems and everything into a tray, shove it through, and then they appraise everything without you present. As they look at everything, they will actually only offer you 11,000 gold for it, or rather 1,100 platinum is what they will offer you.
And that's after having everything set aside that I
That's
want.
after everything was set aside that you wanted. 1,100 platinum is what they are offering you.
13. I know how to haggle.
Roll a persuasion check.
Sure. Can I guidance it?
You can.
Sweet. I rolled a 4 and a 1, so
What's the
9.
The best I can do is 1,100 platinum.
Well, if you say it's the best you can do. They say it's the best they can do, guys.
No, I don't like it.
Well, anyone else in this group is welcome to take my place in this negotiation. Because I got everything I want. This is more for you guys.
Pardon me, mate. I think maybe you missed like a stack, like a pile of these things. These aren't your garden variety gems. Perhaps you were looking at maybe someone else's gems or something. But we got these from the plane of Earth. You know, like these aren't your granddad's gems. These aren't from Mount Hotanau over there. These are very foreign gems and probably worth 10 times what you've offered.
Roll a persuasion check.
$18.
Well, you see, I've got to go ahead and get them graded. I've got to melt them down, clear them out a little bit, make sure that they are absolutely proper. Then I've got to put them through the channels to actually go and get rid of them, to turn them into money myself that I could then give to adventurers like you. So I'd be willing, the best I could do is 1250.
1250, not 12,500.
As in 1,250 platinum, so 12,500 gold.
Okay. It's better. Taxes are ridiculous.
Oh yeah,
Tell
by the
me
way,
about it.
I don't like to pull rank or anything like that, but I flash my badge of thainship. And I look around. Be a shame if anything were to, inspectors were to come around here and find that you guys weren't doing your business up to code. If you know what I mean.
Are you trying to threaten me, sir?
No, not at all. I'm just saying. That would be a shame. You guys have a very thriving business, and it would be a shame if you guys were buried in paperwork and
Something
fines.
were to happen to it.
That would be terrible.
Roll an intimidation check.
$15.
If we get our audits done properly, we do everything right, we are leading the Merchants Guild here, I think we'll be good. 1250, or you can take your stones back.
All right, well, it's a deal. I'm not happy about it. I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna tell all my friends how you guys you shortchange. I'm not gonna send them here. I'm gonna send them to the guys across the street.
Well, when you want to buy something, maybe we can arrange a nice deal for you later. But 1250 is good. They'll take all of the gems out of the tray, put 1,250 platinum pieces into the tray, and push it out for you. There you go.
Thanks, mate.
You're welcome.
Was the jewelry included in this, or is that separate?
That is separate.
Okay.
That is just the gems that you got from that bag in the plane of Earth.
Okay. So I will go after the tray is there, and I'll set down the jewelry. And kind of
This is some good quality stuff. Good quality.
Indeed.
I think I could probably sell this for about 200, so I'd give you 100 for it.
120.
Roll a persuasion check.
All right. That would be a 15.
100, and that's my final offer.
Deal.
All right. There we go. Done.
Great. So you guys got 1250 platinum, and I got all the crap I wanted. Now this is just like someone that does appraisals and shit. Is there someone nearby that is like an actual jeweler that like makes jewelry, or is that?
Yeah, there are plenty of merchants in town that make jewelry for coin. This is a guy that takes your jewels and gives you the coin that you use in the shops. So,
okay, cool. So I'd like to stop at a jeweler on our way out, and give them the 1,000 gold pieces of assorted gems, and tell them I need this placed. I need it embedded into a bowl.
Into a bowl.
Yeah, bowl. Just any bowl.
Any bowl?
Literally any.
Would you like a wooden bowl, a glass bowl, a metal bowl?
Something that's a little sturdy, like it could be wood, but as long as it's finished properly and from the right kind of tree.
Okay. I can do this. I can get this into some nice hard oak. We'll finish it, we'll polish it, make sure that it's sturdy. It'll cost you an extra 150 gold on top of the gems.
What do I have? I don't think I have that much. I have 71.
Oh, I'm just gonna divide the platinum pieces real quick. And
312 and 0.5, right?
I was gonna give 300 to each, and then 50 to Kale.
Oh, okay. Great, thanks. I'll do the 50 platinum and 50 gold then. 150. Wait,
Deal.
I did that wrong.
You said no. Deal. We're taking it. You've just given her 550 gold.
All right. It better be nice.
She'll give you the change
Thank you.
of 4 platinum.
Yeah, math. Okay, anyway, I'm in a hurry.
No, 40 platinum? Yeah, 40 platinum. Yeah.
I'm sure she figured it out perfectly.
So,
Maybe
it'll take a day.
yeah. And is there someone nearby where I can get some? Where I can get? This is a lot. I'm asking for a lot of things. But I need some special mushrooms.
She'll lean in close. What kind of special mushrooms? Like special, or
like magical, like taking you to a, like you can see into infinity mushrooms.
Meet me around back in 5 minutes.
You got it.
All right.
Are there
5
any?
minutes later, this elven individual will kind of hurry over. He's looking a bit skittish. He's wearing a big hooded cloak. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I got a hood. I'm gonna put it on. So face is mostly covered. It's like, hey, come on. Shh. So you want some stuff, right?
Yeah. I need some. Yeah, I need to cast. I need to cast some spells, as it were.
You got the coin, right?
I sure do. I only need. How much is 25 gonna give me?
He'll reach into a pocket and pull out a small little baggie of maybe 50 grams worth of. I don't know prices. 50 grams worth
50
of.
grams.
I don't know. Of assorted mushrooms.
Sure. All right. Yeah. Perfect.
Okay.
Here's the money.
Deal. And he'll run
Awesome.
off.
Cool. I'll just pocket that. Or
What's the spell for?
you'll find out.
It was never a spell.
Well, I'm gonna just, if it's alright with you, I'm just gonna say that I already had like a mortar and pestle in the bag of holding somewhere, just because it's like a nothing item.
You're gonna start grinding it in the middle of the street, back alley, I guess. But
yeah, a little bit. I can do it while we walk. Like everybody, we can just walk while I mix this up. So if that's cool with everybody else, we'll just start walking to the.
Yeah, if anybody asks, I'll just be like, it's staying business. You wouldn't understand.
Yeah.
Okay, they leave you alone.
As we're walking, are there any shops for armor or like magical item shops?
Magical item shops is going to be much harder to be able to get. It's not a case of, in this city, it's not going to be a case of you go into a shop and here's all the magical items.
Right.
It's magical items within, as of right now, are mostly sold by individuals. So if you're looking for a certain type of item, you need to go looking for it.
Okay.
Find out who has it.
Okay. So I'd like to ask around for anyone that would know where I can buy wands.
Generic ones, special. What kind of wand?
I'm looking for wands with spells already in them that I can just cast to not deplete my own known spell list.
Right. That pretty much encompasses all wands. So be a little bit more specific, and we might be able to have a deal.
Evocation magic based wands.
Okay. Are you looking for a wand of fireballs? Or, like, is there a specific wand you're looking for?
No, not really. I'm just looking
Play
for
it
something.
to DM.
Okay. I'm looking for anything that's viable against undead that's going to allow me to either expand what I currently offer to the party or to allow me to cast other spells more often that are not going to be hit with necrotic resistance if we choose to go to the Shadowfell.
Okay. So it's pretty much any spell.
Yeah.
Any of them. Yeah, I mean, you'll be able to find some.
All right.
Wand of magic missiles. There we go. That's what someone will suggest to you. Give you a wand of magic missiles.
Perfect. For how much?
Well, they'll give you the information. Roll a persuasion check.
All right. That would be a 14.
14. Okay. The person that's selling this is willing to let it go for 600 gold.
I will take it.
Generic wand of magic missiles. Okay. Fully charged.
Sweet.
There you go.
While Kale and Tazlin are off buying stuff, I'm gonna turn to Wampum and ask. So, do you think that health potions are actually like worth their value? I've been wondering. It does heal you for a little bit.
I don't know. I mean, I guess if you're that low and I mean you're about to meet your maker, I guess they do carry a heavy weight.
That sounds very situational.
Yeah, I agree.
Should we get some?
Well, I have a few, but I guess sure, some more probably help.
Okay.
Come on.
Are you sure that they're worth the value of the money they spend? 'Cause these things are like 50 gold.
I know. I mean, even the ones that are, a little bit more in quality. I mean, they's getting expensive.
Yeah, never mind. I'm not gonna do it. Nope, too much money. Nope.
You a tough lady anyway. You don't need it.
Brr.
Okay. So what are you guys doing? Walking through the streets?
Yep.
Heading towards the hobgoblin corpses.
Yes, you are. Yes.
Temple of
So,
Timora.
the Temple of Timora, where you had these hobgoblin corpses placed inside of stone crypts. So, the backing out to there, they'll just let you guys in. They recognize you. It was only the night before. They'll lead you directly to a private space at the back where the two coffins have been set up, waiting, almost like a visitation rites would occur. The stone slabs have been shifted ever so slightly so that it reveals the bodies without completely having them uncovered. The priests of Timora have actually cleaned up the body somewhat. There's no sign of blood or any wounds that may have caused their deaths or gotten them close to their deaths anyways. So
Thank you. I'll also inform them about what we're intending to do to the bodies, since it's in their protection. Kind of, we intend to interrogate them. First, we're going to see if their dead selves have any information. Regardless, there is a chance that we are probably going to resurrect them. Does that impede anything?
It does not impede, mistress, but I would like to bring up the point that who will be performing the communication with these dead individuals.
I will.
Okay, sir. I have known that in the past, sometimes certain individuals, certain people tend to not respond well to those that have caused them harm within their life. Do you consider yourself to have been hostile towards these individuals prior to their demise?
Absolutely.
Okay, I think they probably won't respond well to you.
Right. The plan was, and we've done this before, to have my feline friend here take on another form and ask the questions through him.
Okay.
Do you have a better suggestion? It seems like you were hinting at offering us some sort of...
No, I was offering to perform the task for you and ask the questions for you. But if you have another workaround, then absolutely fine.
So generous. These people are so generous.
Very generous.
Timora rules.
Well, if we act out for them, then luck will come around and help us out at some point.
Exactly future. Right. Yep. Preach it.
Yeah. Sure. No, we can handle it ourselves. It's fine.
Okay. Then we will give you the space. We'll be outside if you need us.
Okay. So I missed the description. You said we were just like in a room.
So yeah, they took you off to a private viewing space. Kind of, if you've ever been to an open casket funeral, they have the casket off to one side to be viewed by family and friends. That is not the crypt itself, but attached to it. So they've done that. They've separated you off into a private room. The only people that would go through that space and witness this are those that intentionally come into your room for any particular reason.
It's only one entrance?
Only one entrance. And they said they would be stood on the other side of the door.
Okay, so the door's closed.
The door's closed.
All right. As soon as I leave, I'll get a little bit of diamond dust, I think it cost.
Mr. Kale.
Yep.
Just a question for you.
Sure.
You think that me and Nas should vacate this? They might not be too happy seeing us.
I'm not leaving.
Well, in a minute, you can stay. Whether they're not going to be able to move their heads around or anything, so if you're kind of just off to the side a little bit, they won't be able to see you or hear you. If you don't
I'll be right here against this wall.
Sure.
I'll go hide in the corner.
All right.
Kale, mate, who do you want me to be, and what questions do you want me to ask?
Just probably. I don't know. That's a good question for Nos, actually. Nos, what do you, given your experience having been in their shoes,
you want to confirm that they actually worked for the White Hand. We still aren't sure of that.
Okay.
And if they want to be brought back, is that a question?
I'm not sure if that's a legitimate question if they don't.
Yeah, they won't be able to comprehend that they're dead.
Not only that, but one of the reasons why they might want to come back is for revenge against their former wizard boss, so they won't have knowledge that the wizard boss killed them. So that's.
And they won't be able to understand anything like that. So when you're phrasing any questions, they can't comprehend that they have died. And so anything that's happened after their death or could happen, they can't even speculate on future to them events. So for them, it's.
For them, you're still in the elemental plane of Earth, fighting them.
Right. I was trying to think of how to describe. modern technology in a way. It's as though someone spoke all of their knowledge into a bottle and then stoppered it right before they died. And then when you open it up, you can only hear all that knowledge up to that point. Makes sense?
Yeah. So who should I be? Their boss? That wizard we fought?
Well, if they hate their boss, then that might not be good.
Just because they hate something doesn't mean that they don't respect them too. I would say go for the boss.
Okay.
And I never fought them, if that is any offer.
Okay, yeah, we'll keep that in mind. And while all this has been going on, I've been like sprinkling 25 gold worth of diamond dust around the room so I can cast non-detection.
I'm sure the things that we want to find out is where exactly in Evernight they're located, how many forces they have, what their defenses are like. If they have warriors, where did they get them?
Okay.
How about if they have a contact here?
That's a good one.
Contact Neverwinter. I mean, first, obviously, we should ask if they worked for the White Hand, or if they know anything about the White Hand at all. So, should we just phrase it as who? Should we just ask them who they work for, or should we ask them specifically if they work for the White Hand? Because if they don't work for the White Hand, then they have no idea what we're talking about. Both those questions would be useless, I guess.
I think the more specific, the better.
Okay. All right. So, do you work for the White Hand? Where in Evernight are they located? Do you have a contact in Neverwinter? That's 3 questions. We get 2 more.
Do you wish to be brought back?
Remember, they don't know
You
that.
can't ask.
Oh, you're right.
So we could phrase it as though, if hypothetically, if you were to be killed in the service of your current employer, would you like to be brought back from the dead?
In service to your current employer and killed by your current employer. That's very important.
Okay.
Well, maybe we leave a couple of questions, just penciled in because we don't know what the answers are going to be yet. We might need to dig deeper into a few things.
Well, we have 4 of them right now. So that gives us 1 extra, and obviously we don't have to ask everything that I wrote down. That would be crazy. So I will get to work casting the Speak with Dead spell on one of them. I'll pick one at random. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, that one.
No. Not that one. The one that didn't get hit by Wampum initially and start the whole thing. That one has less personal vendetta against everything.
You got it. So I'll get some incense out and burn it and kind of wave it over the one that Nos indicated's face.
And I disguise myself to look like the wizard that we fought.
Okay. So, the breath of life returns momentarily to the corpse. Eyes stay closed. Its mouth opens as it breathes in this breath. What is your first question that you propose?
Hi there. You remember me, obviously, as your boss. Do we work for the White Hand?
Yes, of course we do. Well, you do.
So, where do we hang out when we're in Evernight?
The last time we went, locations changed, but we went to Lamantha's mortuary.
You can keep going.
Should I follow up on that, or should I ask about Neverwinter?
I don't think you need to follow up about that. I'm kidding.
But you should have.
Yeah, find the contact.
Yeah, just ask about the contact.
How about when we're in Neverwinter, do we have someone we like to chat with there?
We only communicate with the Guardians of the Shadow.
Follow up on that. Who are they?
Refresh my memory. Who are the Guardians of the Shadow?
The cultists that guard the passage to the Shadowfell.
Okay, we only have one. Only one more.
Right, so should I ask about being brought back, or should I ask where the passage to the Shadowfell is?
Well, no, so I guess that's up to you. You're the one who expressed most interest in having them brought back. So is that something you're still interested in?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And if I get him back, then if he begins to work for us, then we can just ask him anything.
Right, of course. Okay, yeah, just ask him about being brought back.
If you were to die by my hand, would you want to have someone else bring you back?
No. I would want to remain in the rest of my God.
At your own socks!
Okay. That's it. That was 5, right?
That was 5.
Yeah.
Where am I going to get my private army from? Huh? Maybe those slaves back at the Harpers still interested, or would be interested.
Whoa.
You mean recently freed persons?
They were slaves. So, what?
They were prisoners with jobs. Okay, so, I mean, said he'd prefer not to come back. Do you still want me to rip him back to the realm of the living?
I guess not.
Okay. Do we want to question the other one?
Ask him where the passage to the shadow. Do we need that? Can we get there?
I would simply resurrect them and then make them talk.
Well, it costs money, and they can say no.
Right, they don't have to come back. So it would be a waste of resources, of precious time.
If one of them just said they would not want to be resurrected, that pretty much clarifies that he would refuse a resurrection.
Right.
Well, while he was living, he would refuse resurrection. He might find
True.
out that the afterlife isn't all it was cracked up to be.
True. He might not enjoy Acheron. But I think he would.
All right, so do we want to question the other one? As far as the passage to the Shadowfell, I mean, that doesn't mean anything to us, really. We can teleport wherever we wish, because you're very familiar with the Shadowfell, are you not, Tesla?
I am. Would that mortuary, would that be something I'm familiar with, or a check that I'd be able to make to recognize the name?
Roll a history check.
All right. That would be a 17.
Okay. So what you know about the mortuary yourself is that a long time ago it was just where the dead would go when they're actually dead. Like after dying, again, they would go to the mortuary. But in recent years, it has actually been used as more of a breeding grounds for ghast and other creatures that feast on human flesh, and somewhat pseudo asylum.
All right.
So a lot of crazies, a lot of undead that like to feast on human flesh at the mortuary.
Rather an unpleasant place.
Yeah.
Well, even if we don't need a passage to Shadowfell, the Guardians of the Shadow are presumably there. Should we find out who they are so we can make sure they're not up to any mischief?
Sure.
I can pretty much
Um,
guarantee you with a name like Guardians of the Shadow, they are mischief.
Well,
Is Guardians of the Shadow a formal title for anything in the Shadowfell? Would I?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
You can pretty much assume that they are called Guardians of the Shadow because they guard the entrance to the Shadowfell.
right. But we just waltzed on in there before. It wasn't even a problem.
Yeah.
So if we can teleport anywhere we want on a plane, anywhere that Taslin's familiar enough with, that is, that shouldn't be an issue.
Are you guys looking for more questions to ask?
I'm trying to think if there are any.
Well, like I said, if there is a passage to the Shadowfell and there are folks guarding it, then maybe it would be worthwhile to find those folks, is merely what I was suggesting.
Okay,
Do we
so
know the librarian's name?
Sutta.
Why don't we find out what her stake in this is?
I agree with the concept. I agree with the general idea. But we have to tread carefully there because she's in a very prominent location, first off. And she was, while Lafcadio was giving a performance, I was watching her, and she entered a back room in the House of Knowledge and spoke with a very square, box-shaped, I think it was like a darkly dressed crate, wearing all black and also a white clawed gauntlet and a porcelain mask. So, I mean, it was white hands. The symbolism was pretty obvious, I thought. Who proceeded to teleport out via the teleportation spell, which is a very high level magical ability. So, we should tread carefully around her because she has direct contact with the white hand. And in a similar vein, Lafcadio, I gotta quiet down. It's on the other side of the door. In a similar vein, as you brought up before, it is extremely suspicious how Lord Belvedere continues, or Neverwinter in general, continues to be involved in some way with everything. You know, all the problems seem to originate here, and then the Shadowfell equivalent is where their base of operations is. And I believe there were times when I tried to scry on him during our adventure, and it just outright failed. So, that could mean any number of things, though.
Yeah, he probably failed to scry me out, too. 'Cause I got a fancy ring that prevents such things.
Right. So, I mean, he could just value his privacy, but again, it's very suspicious. So, things like, well, I guess we should continue to act natural. And if we give any sort of hint that we're on to him or his associates, if indeed they are up to anything nefarious, that would be bad. We don't want to give up our position, right? So openly going after the librarian would be bad, and I'm not big on kidnapping in the dead of night, but if it's about keeping the Shadowfell from consuming the material plane, I guess it's okay.
Well, how about the contact in Lusthead? Or weren't we supposed to deliver something
to the Harples?
Or
Yes, the Harples in Long Saddle. I still have their bag of rings. They might be helpful, I guess. They're renowned family of spellcasters, if I remember correctly. So they might be an able ally if they're not already being enlisted by the White Hand, because they seem to have their fingers all over the damn place. That's an option.
About Suda,
Mhm.
I heard the word kidnapping. Why do we have to take her by force? Why can't we just ask her out? Why can't you just ask her out?
Gosh, maybe I could, I guess.
I bet you could.
She wasn't too keen on you or Wampum. But yeah, I could try, I guess.
She was just jealous of me beauty, that's all.
She was just worried you just look too powerful, both of you, for such a place. You know, it's a very delicate area, a library.
I can stay away if I'm too intimidating for her.
I suppose that would help.
If asking her does not work out, we can always coerce her through other means. I do have a spell prepared to command her to do any one task if need be. I will need a minute to cast it, however.
That sounds unnecessarily invasive. I could just make a suggestion.
My thinking is that just from my normal street savvy, she seemed like a very normal person. And if she is a normal person, then if she fell in with the White Hand, then it's probably against her will. And she might need help. So maybe that route, that angle is preferential.
Maybe. I guess I'll have to think about it for my part. And it would be honest. I mean, it'd be weird if I just went back there today and was like, "Hey, lady."
Would it?
Yeah.
I'd be flattered.
I feel like you should wait a day after having your friends barge into the library and start yelling. And
I thought she was expecting us to come back anyway, wasn't she? Like she was like, we want some stuff about the White Hand, and she's like, go in that room and I'll bring it to you.
Oh yeah.
You just shy? You like her?
No. Not if she's working for the White Hand.
Well, again, it may be against her will. Maybe they have
Right.
her sick little sister. We don't know.
You do not
Indeed.
know.
And this discourse keeps us farther from any further results. I advise that we go confront her.
So are we done with
Okay.
the hobgoblin bodies?
I suppose so. We could have them interred appropriately.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, as our heroes dispose of the hobgoblin bodies appropriately and leave the Temple of Timora, we're going to take a short break. So, join us after the short break is over as we continue to investigate the White Hand. Welcome back, everyone, after the break. That's a big dice. Kale, you need to calm down. So,
Calm down.
welcome back, everyone. Thanks for sticking with us after the break. So, we are leaving the Temple of Timora. Very brief recap. The party have learned a little bit more about this mysterious White Hand people. They are in the Shadowfell, in Evernight, in a place called Lamantha's Mortuary, which is apparently filled with cannibalistic undead and insane creatures. And yeah, I think that's and that a weird-looking halfling that is as wide as he is tall is some form of leadership within the White Hand. So, as you leave the Temple of Timora, having given permission over to the priests there to not dispose of, but to inter the bodies appropriately, you guys heading out. Where are you going? What are you going to do?
We heading back to that place of knowledge?
She said that she'd be giving us something.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Indeed,
Yep.
and any valuable knowledge may assist us in locating this troublesome gang.
Okay. So, making your way back through the town back towards the temple, the House of Knowledge. She's out there. You head in through the door. She's got the same female, so kind of a scrawny-looking female, probably late 30s, human female. She's got books and books and lots of papers in her arms as she's just almost looks a little bit flustered. Seeing you come through the door, she's like, "Oh, but you were supposed to be up. Oh, did you not need the information that I?"
No, we do. That's why we came back. We had to take care of some other business.
Oh, okay.
He had to use the bathroom.
This.
Okay. All right, man.
Then
Well, you say you didn't like her.
There's a room prepared for you. Let's. I'll show you everything that I found about the White Hand. Yeah.
Okay. You said you prepared a room.
Well, there's a room off to the side that we can use, and she'll go lean up the stairs from behind the red shelves, red bookcase, and then goes up the stairs towards the first room on the first floor.
Okay.
Okay. It's more like a conference room in that it is a long space with one big oval-shaped table that's in the center. Bunch of chairs around it. She puts all the papers down and invites everyone in.
Judah, are you comfortable with me being here? Because I don't have to be here if you don't want me to be here.
Just be careful where, like, if you're going to be turning suddenly, do be careful where the butt end of your weapons and things are. I don't want things to get knocked over and then have to clean. You can be here if you're careful.
Sure. I'll be careful. Whatever sets you on ease.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you for all this information. We'll go over it. You don't have to. I'm sure you have other duties to attend to, so we should be fine.
All right. I'll just be outside if you need anything.
Okay. Great. As she leaves, I look at Tazlin. I'll say, "Do you have the ability to detect magic right now?" Oh, geez, that's all right. Tazlin thinks very hard.
Yeah. And then he shakes his head and says he does not. I unfortunately did not prepare that spell today.
Well, it shouldn't. Forgive me if I'm wrong.
It's
Please
perhaps
correct
not
me.
in my spell book at all.
Okay.
I
I'm
lost
fairly
that image a
certain
long time ago.
that's a ritual. So, but anyway, all right. That's unfortunate. How close are we to that back room?
I'd say maybe 40, 50 feet.
Okay.
It's downstairs, below the stairs.
If I were to walk like over, like 15 feet over, would I be standing like over it? You know what I mean?
50 feet, yes, you'd be if you walk along like the balcony. So the rooms on the side are all along a balcony that wraps around this the open hall where the bookcases are. If you move around the balcony 50 foot, you'll be stood above where the door to administration is.
Okay. I'm gonna make it look like I'm like rearranging the books and papers and crap. And what I'm really going to be doing is the somatic component, well, I say the verbal component, of the detect evil and good spell.
Okay.
Which lets me know if there's an aberration, celestial, elemental, fae, fiend, or undead within 30 feet of me for the next 10 minutes. And then I'm going to say to everybody else when something casting the spell, this is all good, but it looks like she's missing a thing or two. I will be right back. And then I will like do like a round along the top of the place to like as much walking around as I can to get, to see if I can get the whole building.
Can I roll a perception check? Because I think if Taslin knew that Kale was going out to investigate, he would pull out his wand of secret detection, or wand of secrets, and give it to him. Should I roll a perception check for that, or insight?
I mean, is Kale specifically trying to hide from you his actions?
Yeah, not exactly. I would say as soon as you like pull out the wand and offer it to him, he just kind of be like, "No, I'm good."
Okay, I'll stow it back in.
Okay. All right. So for the duration, you know if there is an aberration, celestial, elemental, fey, fiend, or undead within 30 feet of you, as well as where the creature is located.
Mm-hmm.
The spell can penetrate most barriers, but is blocked by 1 foot of stone, 1 inch of common metal, a thin sheet of lead, or 3 feet of wood or dirt. Okay. By the end of the Detect Evil and Good duration, you will be fairly certain there are no aberrations, celestials, elementals, fey, fiends, or undead inside of here.
Okay.
As best as you can discover.
Fantastic. Just double check it. Those things would be weird to have them be here, but we don't know. All sorts of weird shit's been going on all the time since we started this adventure. Anyway, I get back, and I along the way I grabbed some random bullshit book. I just didn't even like look at it. Just I get back to the table and I say, "All right, it's been like 10 minutes. What did you guys find out sifting through all these papers and books and things?"
It's pretty tall.
So, Taslim, what did you find out in the last 10 minutes?
Let us see. Important things, and what would you need me to roll if I was reading the books?
Well, what are you doing? Are you looking through?
I'm skimming through for White Hand, any mention of it.
Okay, so you're skimming through for keywords. So that's perception.
Okay.
All right, so roll a perception check.
All right. That would be a 14 total.
14 total. Out of all of the papers and books that she provided, you skim through and you look for a few mentions. You will eventually find a passage on the White Hand in one of the books that she provides, but that's the only passage that you seem to notice. She brought all of these books for a reason, so there must be some connection to other books, but you just are unable to find it. The passage that you find seems to tell a tale of it's almost like a folk story or a fable, like an old tale that's kind of poetic in its language. More or less, the story depicts this great hero that was acting on behalf of the god Cord. He was leading the charge and wielding a very special scythe, which, as the scythe cut through the air, it would trigger storms behind it. This hero would act on behalf of all that is great and good, and serve his god by conquering people and lands in battle. He was venerated as a hero and celebrated, and he was given all rights and titles, and he was considered a great individual. But the story in the tale goes on to tell the dangers of pride as he became complacent. He began to brag about his powerful scythe, and the scythe was taken. In anger and rage, he started just tearing through cityscapes looking for the scythe that was stolen, and destroyed millions of people. Became then known as one of the most tyrannical individuals and the worst villain of the time. But unbeknownst to him, it was his second in command that had stolen the scythe and used it to finally finish off this great White Hand hero. The name that you get for the White Hand is Skir Death. I'll type it out for you. Scared Death, the hero, and then Scared Death, the villain, but constantly referred to as the, at first, the right hand of Cord, and then the right hand kept getting mistranslated and eventually was known as the white hand of Cord.
And did they give a name for the scythe?
No name for the scythe in the fable, because the story wasn't so much focused on the weapon itself as much as the pride cycle that a person could go through and how it could turn a good man into a terrible villain and ultimately kill him.
All right, so I'll slide that book and point out that to show it to Taslin. Or not Taslin, I'm Taslin. To show it to Kale.
Is there a name for
myself
the?
Look like Taslin.
Is there a name for that second in command person as well?
Yes. His name was Giannis.
Giannis.
But according to this folk story and fable, it's in a book of fiction, but it was set hundreds of years ago.
Right. Okay. And then I guess I'll take notes on that. Sounds good. And then I will look through the rest of the stuff and see if I can figure out why she picked all the things that she did, to see like what the connection is between all these books. If most of them don't mention the White Hand at all, except for this one thing, then there's got to be some other reason that she picked all this stuff out, like you were saying.
And I'll be working on some of the other books and like trading information over the table back and forth collaboratively.
So working together, I'd say, from the sounds of what you're doing, sounds like it would be an investigation check. As you're working together, either both of you roll one or one of you rolls with advantage.
I will roll with advantage. And can I also guidance?
Yes, you can.
That's this and that. That's that. 27.
Okay, so you will be able to collect bits and pieces, and everything that she brought had some reference to Scared Death, the White Hand. Whether it mentioned just the name Scared Death or it mentioned the White Hand or anything, but one thing that's clear, looking through all of this, is she's brought you everything that purposefully makes it sound like a fiction. And that it's an old tale, nothing recent. All of the tomes are from a very long time ago. A couple of them depict the rise and fall of the followers of Scared Death and how they were completely wiped out. So there was all reference or all following of the White Hand that was just eradicated from the earth.
Is there any other mention of Giannis anywhere?
A few times Giannis is mentioned. On one occasion, he is referred to as a individual of large stature. On most other occasions, he is referred to as a trickster that just has always acted to help the people until he was then turned by pride. But no mention of his demise or death anywhere. Just he seemed to just fade out of knowledge. Scared Death, there's very clearly details about his death, and there's clear details about the death of his followers, but no details about the death of Giannis.
Giannis. Would the details shared about Giannis, do they sound kind of similar to accounts or snippets of lore that I've heard about Hearsay?
About who, sorry?
Hearsay, the patron for the Triton warlock back in the city of 10,000 Pearls.
Ah, right. No.
Okay. Just making sure. Not here, Sam. Probably. Okay. Now I'd like to keep this stuff up for an hour, a short rest amount of time, you might say.
Okay.
If that's
Yeah.
okay. Awesome.
So you've all taken a short rest. Yep, that's fine. She's happy to leave you alone. You're staying in the library in that room. That's fine. Let's go. All good.
You want me to go
Okay.
bring her over here and see if we can find out what she was doing with that fella?
Or we can bring the name up of Giannis and see what her thoughts would be.
Yeah, that sounds good. Go for it, Lefcadio.
Bring her back or drop names?
I mean, we have to do the first one to do the other, so. But yeah, I don't see why it wouldn't be suspicious for us to ask about Giannis or anything. We have to he's mentioned in here, so. He or she or they.
What was the name again?
Suda?
Suda.
Suda.
I'm gonna go with you.
No, stay here. Please, and thank you. So as I walk out, I change myself to look like Kale.
Okay.
Sure.
I'd love to hear Lafcardio's impression of Kale.
I do this a lot.
Yep.
Suda. I've been thinking. I've been reading. There's a bit about Janus. Would you mind coming back? By the way, you have lovely eyes. I just wanted to make sure I told you that.
Thank you. Yeah, I'd be happy to share what I know, but everything I know about all of that is included in those tomes that are there. So, yeah, I can. I'll come back. Yeah. And so she'll kind of scurry to.
I put my
walk
arm out
next to you.
for her to carry, for her to hold.
And she'll take the arm.
I place my hand on her arm. You have very lovely skin.
Oh, thank you.
Have you worked
She'll-
here long?
A while, a couple of years. Yeah. Do you
like
come
it?
here often?
Well, I had no idea that you were working here. If I knew, I would make time to visit more often. That's for sure.
No. Keep going.
Keep going.
All right. So when we get to the door, I open it, and then I like pretend I trip a little bit. So I spin her around a little bit, and while I'm doing that, I change back to Lefcadio. So she walks in and she sees everyone, and no reason to think I was that I was the one there.
So you walk into the door with her, trip, spin her around. While you're spinning her around, so while Kale spins her around, Kale becomes Lafcadio, and Kale is still by the table.
Right, but she doesn't. I spin her in such a way that when she is not facing me, is when I transform, and then when when the spin resolves, she's next to Kale, like she would have been if Kale was the one spinning her.
Roll a deception check.
Deception. Boop. 28.
Okay. All right. You carefully managed to trick her into
And I wink at
thinking
Kale.
that she was walking with Kale.
And I give him
And she'll immediately take Kale's arm, or at least wrap her arm around Kale's.
Okay. You can. Is this normal?
No, I guess not.
Just,
Kale, come on!
What? That's a weird thing to do once you've arrived at your destination, don't you think? Kind of. I'm
No,
sorry, I
that's-
don't mean to be rude. It's just unsettling. It's a little bit.
It's sorry, it was just a
I'm
mistake.
gonna lean over to Suda and be like, he's socially awkward.
No, right? Why are all the good ones the good ones weird?
It's because they'd be boring if they weren't.
So anyway, the reason we brought you up here is because we wanted to ask about this Giannis individual some more. I noticed there's a few, mentions here and there, but I was wondering if you had any additional information on the lieutenant of this great hero of Cord.
All I know is the information that is available on from the books that Giannis was. He was always considered lesser of the two, even when the White Hand was a good individual serving the cities and saving people. He was always in the background, and he was still always in the background, subtly manipulating things for the hero Skideth. Without, he was more of a manipulator than anything else, is I guess what the stories tell of him.
Okay. Hold on, I'm checking something real quick.
So as she's speaking, I've heard that all of the White Hand were eradicated. Is this correct?
I believe so. That's what I remember.
And in your opinion, as a professional here, what would you believe is the orientation of where these fables and folk tales began geographically?
The geographic location of where these folk tales began? I mean, there's not really much say in the locations that the battles took place in, only that he traveled from a great mountain across the nation till he reached the desert. And then he settled there and came back when he lost his scythe. So I would assume that it could be any of the mountains along the edge of the Sword Coast, and he went eastwards towards Anarok and then came back.
Well, thank you for your insight.
Yeah, you are.
While they were doing that, Kill would have tried getting up and spreading a little bit of diamond dust around. And if there's no issue with
Stealthily?
that, yeah, sure. I'll try doing it stealthily with guidance.
Roll. Okay, so you're going to say a prayer of guidance, which
Mhm.
requires verbal and somatic components, I believe,
That
to cast
sounds
a
right.
spell. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So you're going to use verbal and somatic components to cast a spell to make it easier for you to hide the fact that you're casting verbal and somatic components and material components.
When you put it that way, yes, that's what I'm going to do.
Okay. So she'll notice the casting of the prayer. And
Can I roll to do that one stealthily? Without guidance?
okay, so
Just
without guidance, stealth roll for the guidance spell.
That's not bad. That's not bad. That would be a 17.
17. Okay, that beats her passive perception. So go ahead. You manage to get off the guidance quietly. Go ahead and cast it stealthily.
Oh, I rolled a nat 20. Plus a 3. Plus another 3. That's 26.
All right, so you successfully, quietly,
Just like flicking diamond dust.
diamond dust everywhere.
And I cast non-detection again.
Okay.
And then just like a 10-foot cube right around us, because there's just a place 10 foot big, I believe.
Okay.
Cast. So, then after she's done talking to Tazlin, I will look at her and I will try and I'll try and read her mind again first. So she's actually supposed to do the whiz save before I can read her mind.
Okay. So is she inside the non-detection?
Yeah, I think so. I guess, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, what you're saying. Vibration, target can't be targeted by divination magic. I don't know that. I guess that does. I mean, it's a channel divinity, right? But I am reading her thoughts. So, like the mind reading spell, whatever, detect thoughts is a divination spell.
Yeah.
Even though this isn't that specifically, but I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're not specifically casting detect thoughts, though, are you?
No, I'm just channeling divinity.
Does channel divinity say you can cast detect thoughts? We've covered this before.
Right. Now it just says they have to make a whiz save. I choose them and they have to make a whiz save. And on a success, I can't. Oh, wait, they succeeded on it before, right? I can't do it. Till
True,
tomorrow.
she did succeed. Yeah, you can't do it for another 24
All right,
hours.
well, then I'm going to ask her, without casting any spells at first, I'm going to say, do you mind if I just... Well, shit. I'm going to have one hand in my component pouch.
Okay.
But then I'm just going to ask very pointedly, and how long have you been working with the White Hand?
I'm gonna motion
I don't
for.
know what
I blocked
you're
the door.
talking about. I've never. The White Hand have been extinct. I've not worked for them before.
I'll motion for her to continue, as though, like, yeah, I'm not buying it. Just keep trying.
I don't work for the White Hand. Like, what evidence do you have that I do? Accusing me of all of this?
Do you work for anyone or with anyone who walks around wearing something on the hand that happens to be white?
And do you need help?
Yeah, so...
I think maybe you're referring to the paladins of Torm and Tyr. They walk around with white gauntlets. Maybe you've seen a couple of those in town. I regularly do work with the paladins, but I don't work. I don't. No, not.
Look,
there is no White
Hand. I'll look her directly in her eyeballs with my eyeballs, so she knows I'm serious when I say this. I've magically secured the area. Nobody can scry on us here right now. You can be perfectly honest with me. And the rest of my friends here, we're trying to help everybody. I saw you in that back room with a gentleman clad in all black with a white clawed gauntlet and a porcelain mask with eye slits in it earlier today. Please, if you can share any information about the White Hand with us, we are just trying to help. And it would be very beneficial for everybody if you could help us.
Roll a persuasion check.
Fell out of the tower. It's you know,
you're going to break your tower.
She's really enamored with him, so just throwing that out there.
Advantage. No. I rolled a 15.
15? Okay. Look, I appreciate that you think you need to do something very important, but I really think you're mistaken, and you saw something else. Maybe it wasn't me. Maybe it wasn't him. Like, you might have seen something else, and I think it would be best if you just, consider the White Hand to be dead, like everyone else in the world does. Don't stress yourselves trying to chase down a dead rabbit.
Are you aware of what they're trying to do? Trying to destroy the world as we know it.
If I were to be aware of such an organization still existing, I would not know. I don't think.
Well, if that organization did still exist, they may be getting up to some interplanar BS in which all the planes are falling in on each other and everything is breaking. It could be that if this organization existed, they may wish to put the Shadowfell here in Neverwinter.
I can vouch. I'm just gonna raise my hand and go back to reading one of the books.
Vouch for what?
That they're
And of course, you're going to support your friend's story. I mean,
I was only brought to the material plane because of these disturbances.
Okay. All right.
That's what we mean when we say that it would benefit the entire world. And this is all very hypothetical.
If I were so inclined, I would suspect a person in a situation similar to what you're describing would maybe be under some form of danger or coercion.
Dispel magic level 5 on her.
Nothing happens.
Okay.
Like what kind of circumstances could we be talking about? Could we be talking about a kidnapping of some kind? Could we be talking about future circumstances?
Oh no, they have an from what may possibly occur is they may possibly be able to read memories and thoughts of people, and if they were so inclined, punish people for actions that they may or may not have done.
Okay, all right. Well, it's a good thing this organization does not exist.
It does.
That's some terrifying stuff.
Mm.
Yep.
So, continuing down this path of hypothetical questions, if the person in such a position were to be coerced against their will into spilling beans, as it were, about this hypothetical organization that doesn't exist that's coercing them not to do so, would they still be punished harshly?
Yes.
That's unfortunate. Where could we take you? How attached are you to your life here?
I mean, I liked the temple until they kind of ruined it for me.
What if could,
hypothetically.
What if we could put you somewhere where you'd be safe?
I don't think such a place could be possible.
Teo OC question. For a Gios, could you hypothetically command someone to remember events different from how they occurred?
Or specifically with Gios, which is always an awkward spell. Forcing it to carry out some service or refrain from some action or course of activity as you decide. The creature is charmed by you. So, think about yourself. could could you actively remember things differently and not remember the true? Like, no one could make you change your memory because you would know that the new memory is false. I think there's a movie all about this kind of thing. Yeah. It's a good one.
Yeah.
There are spells, like Modify Memory, that would remove 10 minutes out of a person's memory.
Yep. I don't have that spell.
I think, hypothetically speaking, if this organization were to exist, then the best way to help people who have fallen under its shadow, hypothetically, could be to obliterate that organization soon.
Hypothetically, yes, but I would think that anyone that is under their hand would be in grave danger until that action is completed.
All I can do is state what I can tell you the truth the best that I know it. Okay? We have intelligent and somewhat powerful allies that are practiced in the art of keeping people like you safe. And if you were to share the information that you have with us, we could get them to guarantee your safety to the best of their ability, which again is substantial and practiced.
Roll a persuasion check.
Sure. I rolled a 4, so that's plus 4 more. So it's an 8.
8 in total.
Yes.
Okay. A person in that situation would need to be reassured that they would be safe if they were to give you any additional information about an organization that doesn't exist.
Okay, sure. Have you heard of the Harpers?
Yes.
Great. They're an ally of ours. They have means of getting to other planes of existence, which would make it doubly difficult to find you. And they have established safe houses in those places. Okay. And you need some sort of actual evidence. Those rings that we have, do they have like the symbol of the Harpers on them?
They do have a Harper symbol on them, yes.
And I'll gesture to everyone else, like, we've all been granted these rings.
I don't think Taslin has one, does he?
Actually, Taslin does not, except for him, but don't worry about that. He's cool. So, yeah, this is the symbol of the Harpers, right? You've seen this before. And we are all in possession of these rings. As far as I can think of, that's all the physical evidence that we have on us right now. We can take you somewhere and have you meet some people. But if we do that, there's no going back from that decision. We can't show you the secret hideout of the Harpers here in Neverwinter, and then you just run back to the White Hand and tell them all about it.
How about instead we arrange a rendezvous that's outside of both locales for pickup? That's usually what we do when we're trying to hide someone.
Okay. That sounds like it makes a lot of sense. Would that be something you'd be keen to participate in?
To meet someone from the Harper organization?
Yeah, and hear straight from them that they can keep you safe.
They would probably also evaluate the situation themselves and figure out how best to serve this situation.
Okay. Yeah. I think I think taking a stroll down the river this afternoon might be a nice thing to do. The weather's a bit brisk, but the cool breeze over the water is probably a good thing. So I think I might be inclined to go take a stroll.
I'd like to insight that.
Go ahead and roll an insight check.
All right, that's a 15.
Okay. Seems pretty straightforward.
All right.
No additional insights gained.
All right. Great. Sounds good. We will do that.
So, who are you going to get to come and meet her along the water's edge?
Leosin!
Oh, yeah, Leosin. He was here.
Yeah.
I will send to him, because that's an evocation spell. I can cast it through the thing, the non-detection.
Non-detection.
Yeah. Which actually, I don't think that would affect him, because I can't target people inside the non-detection. He's outside.
Yeah, you can go outside.
It's not like, what the hell is it? It's Private Sanctum.
Yeah.
Right, but I can't get that because I'm not a wizard or anything. Anyway, yeah. So I will send to Leosin. I'll be like, all right, just don't freak out because I'm about to cast a spell, but it has nothing to do with you, lady.
Suda. Her name is Suda.
Whatever. Who cares? That was out of character. Anyway, I send Leosin and say, hey, we're back in Neverwinter right now. We have a potential informant that may need some witness protection if you get my drift.
Drift gotten. Where and when do we pick her up? Or them up?
God, I'm blowing through spell slots today, boy. All right, so I'll use my last level 4 spell slot to cast sending again. Because I screwed that up. Let's meet this afternoon down by the river.
Okay. I'll walk up and down the river until I find you. Should only take me 4 or 5 hours. I roll.
I roll. Sounds good. All right. Cool. So we'll meet someone on the river this afternoon on a nice little stroll. Here's the plan. I didn't specify where on the river. He mentioned he could have said a specific place, but that's on him, not me. So since we have a lot of people and he's one person, the two of us, say pointing at Suda, say we can just take a stroll near the center of the river, and the rest of us can fan out, 2 in one direction, 2 in the other direction, try and find him, and bring him to us near the center. Sound good?
I do an elbow to Kale.
So, a sunset walk along a river, like on a specific, hypothetically speaking, like a date. Like if we were pretending we were, so that people didn't see.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, sunset's a bit of a stretch because I said afternoon. That's more of an evening thing. But sure, yeah, that's whatever we need to do.
Afternoon picnic, perhaps.
Whatever we need to do to sell it, that's fine.
I preferred the Kale from 5 minutes ago. But,
Okay, well then Lakaya can wait with you and be charming and friendly or whatever it was he was doing. Manhandle you as soon as you walk into a room.
I
What are you
think
talking
the
about?
2 of you ought to go to dinner first. because a walk after dinner is very healthy.
Okay, well, that would have been a wonderful suggestion, Waffle. But I already told Leosin we would meet him in the afternoon. So, I mean, we could
Fine.
lunch. The picnic sounded fine, I guess.
And
This really is not the important part of this plan.
Leosin is at the location, correct?
Yeah.
I just told him the river, and he said,
And it's just to clarify, I've been there before.
okay.
See you on your date. I'm gonna use the plane shift amulet. Just
You're
straight
gonna
off.
use the plane shift amulet to just go.
I'm just gonna tell him evening, no questions asked, and I'm gonna inform him that it's going to be near the middle of the river, and that there will be two of us on either side of the river to make sure there are no quote unquote unfortunate circumstances, and to keep an eye out.
Roll an intelligence check.
Yeah, my favorite kind. That would be an 18.
Okay. Right. So you go where you wanted to go.
Yep.
Right.
I'm gonna tell him like
She's a little bit spooked by the fact that this other person who, after having this conversation, and you've already discussed he being from the Shadowfell, just suddenly disappears from view after all of this conversation. So she looks a little bit worried about all of this, but will eventually calm down, ready to go out on a walk along the river with you in a couple hours.
Great.
She'll accept defeat and won't try to push the idea of a picnic.
Okay.
She'll
I
just
mean, we
meet
could
you
do a
in the
picnic if you really want to do a damn picnic.
No,
You're gonna
no,
die
no.
alone.
No, it's.
I got a lot of time, okay?
I mean, I wouldn't want to put you out or anything, so it's don't worry about it. It'll be fine.
Kale, you know you're a good cook.
I mean, I can be for 10 minutes.
So, cook her a picnic. Take her on a picnic.
I appreciate the help, but no, it's okay. I'll see you all in a few hours, unless you're going to follow me.
Do you want someone to follow you?
Oh, no, we're not leaving you alone. That's not going to happen. Someone's going to be watching you.
Okay.
I vote Kale.
Then she will go and sit behind the table at the front and pull out her papers and books and go back to cataloging and preparing. It's going to be boring. It'll take about 3 hours of just her going over pages, stamping them.
Before that all gets started, I mean, I'll probably just sit nearby and read something, try and figure out Abyssal and Celestial. I'll look to Wampum, and I'll say, Nos, if you want in on this too, that's fine. You're both very strong, and it looks like we'll have some time before we need to be anywhere. I got all these rubies, but I need them to be turned into a powder. Do you think you guys can handle that?
You want me to smash rubies?
Yes.
That's I don't know. Even
Don't
for us.
lose too much. Don't lose any of the powder if you can. Really, that would be preferable. You can take the you can take the bag of holding with you, and make sure it all gets in there. But please don't lose it. Oh my God, if you lose it.
We can try on one, and if it doesn't work, stop. You know.
Well, I figured at least one of them you would have knowledge about how to work with minerals like this, or you'd know where to find somebody who can.
Yeah, I was giving you a hard time.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Always. Yeah, if you could do that, that'd be great.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
How much powdered ruby?
1,000 gold worth.
Okay. I think I know which spell you're trying to go for.
I forget. I was just looking at all the 6 levels. It's a 6-level spell.
Forbidden.
Forbiddance,
Right?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, fair enough. All right. So they can go off and they can powder off some ruby for you. It's quite a process to be done, but eventually they will be able to crush it down to its finest minerals. They're more than capable. Wampum is definitely capable of doing that sort of thing. During the couple hours, she'll notice that you're trying to understand and translate a celestial and abyssal, right? Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Conveniently, as I rolled it, she speaks both of those languages and would be happy to teach you.
Oh, good. Yeah, definitely. I would love to know more languages.
So she'll start actually helping you to understand the book, and she'll teach you abyssal and then teach you celestial. And the translations don't work great going through all three, but it's a nice little, or at least for her, bonding experience for the next hour or so of teaching you this.
Great. And does she know Gnomish at all? Is she like a native Gnomish speaker at all? Shit.
Nope. No
Okay.
Gnomish.
So we wouldn't say that I have proficiency in Abyssal or Celestial yet. I feel like
Not yet.
That's
Still
a stretch.
still needs quite a bit of time, but you're getting closer. You've done enough studying on your side. She's helping you out now. Looking pretty good. So, a couple hours will go by. Any other activities that you guys would be engaging in during those few hours before the meetup with Leosin?
I wouldn't mind asking around the shops before they close if anybody's got their hands on a lightning resistance ring.
Lightning resistance ring.
Mm-hmm.
Roll a persuasion check to try and find one.
25. Oh, yeah.
25? Okay. You will be able to find a person. After talking to a couple people, eventually you'll find someone that sells a ring of resistance, specifically lightning.
Can I trade that one for the fire resistance? People probably use the fire resistance more.
They do use the fire resistance quite a lot, but they're not going to do a straight like-for-like trade. They will require some form of additional compensation to cover the gap. You're giving them a second-hand ring. They are giving you a new ring, so
okay.
It's not really been used that much. So, so they will give you the ring for your other ring plus 3,000 gold.
3,000 is way high, especially if I'm providing you something of a like function.
Roll a persuasion check.
As a natural one.
How about, are you talented in any particular way?
Name it! I can do it! Hook billows.
All right. Hey, not 20. So then perhaps we can do a like for like, but you also sign a contract to perform a task for me pro bono for free, IOU style.
I will agree with that as long as it's not illegal. I'm a
absolutely. Do you often do illegal stuff?
Well, I used to back in the day because look at me. But I've never liked it, and I've never wanted to, and now that I'm in a position where I don't have to, I'm not going to.
Are you wearing the big cloak of Neverwinter, by
yes.
the way? Okay, so yeah, that's on display. Okay, yeah. Then yes, if we'll do that trade. You sign this. It won't be anything illegal, and it will simply be a fetch, what people might call a fetch quest. You know.
Okay. Right on. Do you need this stuff immediately? Because we're about to go save the world and stuff. No big deal.
No. So when the time comes when I need your assistance, I'll find you. What's your name?
Nos. Nos of Neverwinter.
Nos of Neverwinter. Nos of Neverwinter. Okay. I am Renus of Neverwinter.
Nice to meet you, Renus. All right.
So yeah, you can trade out like for like.
Do it.
As we are also walking around the shops, Wampum is going to try to find a cloak of protection.
Okay. You'll need to also roll a persuasion check to chat people up and find someone that will sell one.
That is a 17.
Okay. You'll find one, and they're currently selling it for 500 gold. They have 3 in case others are interested.
I will pay the 500 gold.
Okay. Sounds good. Anything else, folks?
Nope. Taslin's just making his way back from the location and walking through town. He'll
Okay.
meet up with them there.
After a little while, once you finally reach the point of actually having the meetup, Leosin will look a little bit flustered as he moved quite briskly to try and find you. Does find you after a bit of searching. Leosin Erlenthar, being a suave, kind of colorfully dressed individual, always carrying a large quarterstaff around with him, and his jet black hair just swaying nicely, slightly within the breeze. It's short, but it still has quite a bit of life to it. He'll approach, sauntering towards Kale and Suta. Greetings, friends.
Glad, mate.
Good evening.
It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance, madame. Oh, yeah, that's me. She seems very quiet, and she'll kind of keep to herself. She'll kind of hug up close towards Kale, or as close to Kale as she can, acting a little bit shy. So, what can I do for you?
So she's got some information that she can share with us, but she needs to be assured that she can be kept safe after doing so.
Okay, we can do something like this. Is she trustworthy?
I don't know.
She's
That's hard
been
to
real
tell,
good at
you
keeping
know?
secrets so far.
Yeah, it was pretty hard to get her to get to here to this point. So, I have a pretty good eye and ear for trustworthiness and honesty.
She needs help and she's scared. That's all you need to know, man. Be good.
Okay. Madame Suta, are you okay with being blindfolded? She'll shrug and look at Kale's face.
I am.
Yes, she will be comfortable with it, and so he will whip a cloth out of his pocket, almost like magic, like a magician,
Okay.
and then he whips a piece of cloth out. Doesn't pull out, whip, calm down. He'll blindfold her and then lead you all through the city, double backing a few times before going into the chasm where the Harper hideout is, where she will be protected and hidden from also scrying eyes and all of that. Can't get through the Harper headquarters unless it's desired by them.
Great. Now tell us everything.
Okay. The individual that you saw me with is Giannis.
Figured.
He is a 1,000-year-old wizard who has changed physical form on a regular basis. He has been human, he has been elf, he has been dragonborn, he has changed bodies from time to time and disposes of them, acting more like a parasite than anything else. He is currently in the form of a halfling, but who knows when that will change. He still has that scythe and plans to use it to tear a hole through elemental chaos. Once he has dismantled the planes and the elements kind of combine together, his plan, as far as I'm aware, is to use the scythe to trigger a storm that will end all life.
Do you have any idea why he wants to do that?
No.
And why do you know all these things? Like, who are you to this Giannis person?
I happen to be one of his descendants. A long time ago, one of his former forms was my great-great-grandfather. And while he has power that I could never understand, but I was able to hear a few of his tales, a few of his plans, a few of the things that he said, just simply by being close, listening into meeting rooms. They would use the private rooms in the House of Knowledge regularly when they had to coordinate activities.
All right. And is it just your relationship with him that drove you to be loyal to him up until this point?
Fear of what he would do to me if I didn't listen is all it was.
Okay.
He has not just him, but he has friends in high places. He is a manipulator and manipulates a lot. There is very few things he has not had a hand in over the past few hundred years.
Such as, can you just name like 2 or 3 major events that he had a hand in?
The assassination of Lord Neverember. The appointment of the Guardians of the Shadow.
Okay.
That's to name 2.
Okay. Yeah, that's it, 2 or 3. What can you tell me about the Guardians of Shadow? Like, who are they? What do they do? What are they capable of?
Well, they were a group of city watchmen assigned to guard a discovered passageway to the Shadowfell. They are officials. They work for the city under the control of the current Lord Protector, though I don't think he's aware of their true allegiance.
You don't. So you don't think Lord Belvedere knows about any of this?
No, I think he has been well, I don't know much about him, but he's always seemed like a goodly man.
Hmm. Okay. Have you met him before?
Only when he was running for the position of Lord Protector.
Okay. These Guardians of Shadow, is there any more to elaborate on them insofar as what sort of abilities they possess?
They are just As far as I know, they are great, guards picked out of the elite members of the City Watch.
So they're elite. Okay. It doesn't sound like such a big deal. We have a dwarf. So what do you know about their headquarters that's supposed to be in Evernight?
I only know that it's well defended. I've never actually left here, so I don't know.
Do you have any details
What
about
is-
those defenses?
Monsters, undead, soldiers.
No, like arcane contraptions that'll shoot lightning at us or anything, right?
Machines, no. I mean, the mortuary is where Janus rests.
Okay.
It's where he gets his bodies from. Where he keeps them.
Were you having a chat with him earlier today?
Mm-hmm.
What was all that about?
He came to me and asked me to notify him whenever anyone started asking about him or his activities. And so I did. I messaged him to let him know that people were looking for him, and I gave him your descriptions.
That's okay. We're not subtle. He would have found out anyways we were coming for him.
Did he seem to suggest what he was going to do with that information?
Well, he just instructed me to keep an eye on you, follow, make sure that I kept you happy and busy.
So he'll probably notice that you're gone, huh?
I usually check in every now and then. If he goes back to visit or can see scries on the temple, then yes, I'm sure he would know that I'm gone. Otherwise, my next check-in would be tonight or in the morning sometime.
Okay. Well, far be it for any of us to make any suggestions on how to handle that situation. I'm sure the Harpers do that sort of stuff all the time. They'll probably have the best set of instructions available in that regard. Do you know where this gate to the Shadowfell is?
I know that not long before the coronation, a few new portals to the Shadowfell were discovered, and the task force of the Guardians was set up to defend each of those that were found. My understanding is that there was one in the graveyard, one over in the Shard of Night, and another just off the Blue Lake.
Lake. Okay. What else? I think that's all I've got for right now. Does anyone else have anything that they would like to ask? Shit.
Everyone talk about Kale now that he can't hear us.
Huh?
Never mind.
All right.
Never mind. All right. So with that information, what do you want to do, folks? Charge head first into the mortuary?
Any objections?
Nope.
Well, I mean, like,
One.
we've got Tazlin and his capabilities. Do we really want to go down the path that was laid out for us like that?
Right. No, absolutely not.
But should we remove any cultists guarding the mortuary, then perhaps it would allow us a stealthier approach to sneak in and get closer to Janice.
This group not be all that capable of sneaking.
I just don't understand their connection, their threat. So maybe you do.
Whose threat?
The threat of the Guardians of Shadow, like how they impede us at all.
They don't.
Do you think that you could draw your great grandfather Giannis out into the open here in the city, where he'd be confronted somewhere that's not his seat of power?
I doubt it.
He comes to visit you randomly or pseudo-regularly or regularly?
Rarely.
Rarely.
On this occasion, he seemed very agitated and anxious to know who was asking about him.
But so he was already in the library when we got there, or what was the deal with that? When did he arrive most recently?
When I left you, I sent him a message, sending spell, to let him know of you, and he instantly teleported in, and I spoke with him then.
So if you were to go back and say you had more information, that we had come back to you and told you more things, do you think he would teleport back in?
Possible.
Perhaps she need not even be there. Perhaps she could say that she has more information and will be there waiting for when he arrives.
And we be the welcoming party.
But if he is a mage capable of living generations and generations, he will no doubt be formidable with many ways of escape. We should take precaution to cause him great discomfort and a inability to run.
I don't like the idea of pulling him into our world on the basis that he's got a soul starting weapon, and we're in a city.
Right.
There's a lot of collateral.
That's true, but I think it would also be prudent to not fight him on his ground if possible. So do you have a suggestion for a better place to try and draw him to that we could potentially trick him into going to?
And we must assume that if we do propose a different meeting location not familiar to him, he may suspect foul play and come with support.
Y'all are making me head hurt.
What do you not like about fighting him on his own turf? A, it sounds like they change locations, and B, as far as what she says, they don't have anything there that's built specifically to defend. All they got is ghouls and other monsters.
Right, but if he comes here by himself, then he has no ghouls or other monsters. It's just...
Yeah, but we put the entire city in danger.
That's true.
The entire city at danger was in danger at the beginning when he first came up with his plan to destroy the plains.
Yeah, but now it's okay.
And
we're not actively bringing the calamity to it. It's a bad idea, guys. Don't do it. Someone's gonna die.
Nos, ye know that if ye's gonna fight, you don't let them pick the battleground. Yeah,
no, I get that. I just disagree with taking him and putting him in our home. What's the saying? You don't shit where you eat?
But this is also our ground of choosing.
And if your house is infested with trolls, burn it down and build a new one.
Well, this isn't my ground of choosing.
It could be. I mean, we have so many more resources here. Like our chances of defeating him are so much better here than would be there with just the 5 of us. We have a lot of allies
You
here.
can form a plan that will bring him to some place that's not Neverwinter, I might sign off on it. Somewhere out in the open, maybe the mountains.
But why would he meet her out in the mountains?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. If you guys can work that out, then I'd agree. But I do not want it to come to Neverwinter.
So he has the scythe, or he doesn't have the scythe?
He has it.
He has this scythe that can just create storms by itself.
Why hasn't he
And-
used it yet?
Sorta, does he bring this scythe with him when he visits you?
He didn't today.
Well, do you get the impression that he's waiting for something? As you said, his plan is to use the scythe. Why is it a thing he's going to do and not something he's already done?
He's always said that he would use the scythe to tear through the chaos once it was released. So,
And would he have the assistance of any devils or angels on his side?
he could. I mean, it's possible. He could have anyone by his side. He's been a master manipulator for centuries. He could spend 100 years pretending to be a tabaxi and now be able to convince old tabaxi to follow him.
And what's up with bad guys being halflings? Man, we ran into that vampire who was a halfling. He killed Allie. Now this other guy, he's a halfling.
They're the new hobgoblin.
That's weird. Anyway,
Can't trust short people.
suppose not.
Hey,
Besides present company, Master Dwarf.
Right. Anyway.
well, Kale, couldn't we set up our own battlefield, which meaning would be you already have this dome of silence thing that you done did.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what I was thinking. You're right. We could set
Couldn't
up.
we draw him? I mean, that would limit his spells, would it not?
It would severely.
But it would also limit mine. As long as I'm in it.
If we can get him, if he does he always teleport into the same place, Suda? Is it always that back room?
No, it's not specifically to that back room. It's just near me, I guess. When he wants to speak with me, it's usually just to me.
Okay.
Can I do a Arcana check? Is it possible to teleport to a specific person rather than a known event or known location?
Yes, well, to a degree. I mean, if we look at the actual teleport spell,
You can teleport to an object.
you can teleport to an object. So either he knows of an object that's on her person at all times, or he knows her location, whether it be through a scrying attempt immediately after hearing the message, to then scry, okay, this is the location, I'm going.
I'm going.
All right.
Of course, the destination you choose for a teleport spell must be known to you, and it must be on the same plane of existence as you.
Yeah, I was just about to bring that up. When I saw him leave, he cast the teleport spell, which means he's still on the material plane somewhere. So, since I didn't cast non-detection on her, it's entirely possible, and I dare say likely, that he was scrying upon her while we went out to the river and when we brought her here. He may not be able to be privy to this particular conversation in this room because I'm sure that the Harpers have set up wards and things, but it's likely that he saw that we took her somewhere and had her meet up with a intelligence agency looking character of sorts, if there is a type. I'm not wholly familiar with the concept.
But did he not say for her to get us on her side? To be nice to us?
He did. Whether or not he believes or thinks I'm capable of convincing you to do all of this on my side is... I don't think he would think I'm capable of that.
So our problem is, not only are we definitely going to put everybody in Neverwinter in danger by trying to get him summoned here, we have already in particular put her in danger. And if she comes out from under the protection of the Harpers, then he probably could just show up and cut open her with a scythe.
Which will not happen. We will not allow that to happen.
So we can't have you go back to the library, and try and do your check-in and everything like that.
I say we make the fight right here.
I don't think we can do it right here.
If he's coming here, he's coming here unguarded.
I have an idea.
You do? Thank God someone has an idea.
We could go hang out at the library, like you did last night.
I like it so far.
I will pretend to be her when her buddy, her uncle, him, when he tries to scry at her, he'll be like, "What's wrong? Why can't I scry? Oh no, I better go check on her." And then he pops in the library, or he scries on the library because he can't scry on her. And he's like, "Oh, she's right there. Why can't I talk to her?" Or whatever. And then he pops in.
All right. Solid plan. But if I could make one suggestion, can we do it tomorrow? Because
guys, I can't allow you to do battle with a potentially planar splitting weapon inside of the walls of Neverwinter. That if you're going to do that, then I can't be a part of it, and I have to inform somebody that that's going to happen. There's a whole city full of people here.
No, that's a good point. We could just tell. We could try and tell Lord Belvedere, or just approach a city watch and tell them, "Hey, this thing might be happening, and can we get reinforcements to, maybe clear out?"
Sure. Yeah. If you can get the city on your side, yeah.
But what do you think, Nos, is going to happen when he finds out he can't contact or scry on our new friend here? What do you think he's going to do?
Well, if he appears here and he whips out the scythes from some interdimensional pocket and decides to start doing battle with us, I'm afraid a tornado is going to rip the town apart.
Right, but if he's going to try and reach out, I think 90% sure that he's going to do that once she doesn't check in. At some point, he's going to realize he can't contact her. The next logical step is for him to come and check things out, right? He's coming in regardless if he doesn't hear from his granddaughter.
But if we don't engage him, then he'll give up and go. If he's willing to terrorize her, I'm sorry, but you can't mean so much to him that he would put all of his work on the line. I don't think starting a war with the Harpers is going to help him any. I think he cut his losses.
We must also suspect that perhaps some people in the Harpers are on his side, if he is a master manipulator.
Muted. He's still in that quiet place.
Am I muted now?
No, they're talking
not
about
you.
Phew.
And he could be, for all we know, if he can change shape, he could be Leosa. It could be her. He could have just been lying to us. It could be him under the guise of his great-granddaughter right now. And his plans might be already so far advanced, and he's so powerful that he just doesn't care that we know everything.
So what? Then she dies? What? If that is the case, then we are shit out of luck.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
It is at that point where you say exactly, we are out of luck, that a large explosion happens just outside the walls of the Harper headquarters. It sends a reverberation and an earthquake throughout the headquarters themselves, as they are built within the side of the Great Chasm in the city of Neverwinter. The Harper headquarters are under attack. We're going to end the session there for tonight. And we'll rejoin that situation next week, as it appears the headquarters are under attack and our heroes will either have to defend the Harpers. Or something else, whatever they'd like to do. We'll see. So join us next time for that wonderful installment of the adventure. You can follow us on Twitter. We are at Crituitous RP. We put out these episodes every Saturday and Sunday evening, and then rebroadcast Monday and Tuesday. As way of announcement, we made this announcement yesterday as well. The Saturday night stream will be moved, and we are starting a new campaign in the new year in a custom world of Horan. And you get to experience our creative endeavors in creating our own space to play in. So join us next time, folks. Good night.
See you guys.